Mr. Live. I appreciate that. All right, we're live. And since it's Tuesday, it's Tuesday, February 28th, 2017. Once again, we are gathered for the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group. I'll turn down my sound levels a bit. They're a bit too loud here. And yeah, we'll see what we have to show and tell once again here tonight. It's always a bit of a challenge to plan the night because there's lots of things that just pop up that we must address, and different questions and different people show their things and whatnot, and it's all loosely based on the Keshe technology. In fact, quite tightly based most of the time, but we do diverge sometimes into some of the alternate type scientific theories and various things that might come up. But we always try to bring it back to plasma because that's the only game in town and what it's really all about. Okay. Seeing who we have here. There's Lee. Geez, Lee. I was getting all nervous there that I might not see it today, so I might have to actually talk for half an hour or something to fill in, you know. Did we ever get that video straightened out from last week? I apologize to people on the live stream. I still don't have last week's uploaded to live stream. I have to get a lower resolution version of the one I have and re-upload it and so on. The one
I'm
parts. Go ahead.
I'm just putting it up on Google Drive right now, but it's going to take 14 hours to upload.
Holy cow. All right, well, that's fine.
So Amazon S3 has changed their permission stuff, and there's a whole bunch of stuff to do to get you to be able to download it. So I got to get myself educated there again, I guess.
Yeah, what a hassle. You think in this modern day and age, as soon as you think of something, it should be automatically transferred and not even have to push buttons. But we have to go through hoops and jumps. And I don't like, well, anyway, I don't want to get into all the Google Drive stuff and all that kind of thing. But anyway, anything you want to show today, Lee, or you want to start off with something, or what do you? Aha. Okay. It looks like an ordinary water pitcher, but knowing you and knowing there's hoses coming out of it, I need to learn for some sort of surprise. What do you got?
Okay, you want to put me on the video there so I can
spotlight.
see
Sorry,
what
I got you on the screen.
There we go.
Didn't have your spotlight.
Right, okay, this is for breathing like air oxygen. Gets the fields of the plasma in it. So we got a pump here. It's just a fish tank pump. This isn't going to be the permanent container. This was just what I had here, but there's 25 feet of tubing here. It's wrapped around some plastic mesh. Basically, it's plastic chicken wire mesh, or chicken mesh, chicken fencing. That way I can make there's a double ring in here for the tubes to get the 25 feet of tube in there.
Yeah.
And you can, with the chicken mesh, you can tie wrap it in any diameter you want, and to fit in whatever container you got.
So the chicken mesh is just strictly for a mold or a form for the tubing, right?
That's correct. That's just the form to wrap the tubes around.
Just because it's zinc coated doesn't really have any significance at this time, or does it perhaps?
No, it's plastic, so it's green plastic, so it's not.
I got you.
It's not the.
Okay.
It's not the wire stuff. So that's what I wanted to get, a plastic mesh, and the only plastic mesh I could find was the chicken mesh, or chicken fence. So what I've what I've got to do yet, I got to nano coat the outside of these tubes. You just nano coat the outside, not the inside. And I don't know, I might go to a container like that or something instead of this jug. Home Hardware, they got a milk jug with a screw top and then a cap that goes down fairly tight, but I want to get one that where if you knock it over, it won't leak. So anyway, that's what I'm working on right now. Won't take too long to get that one finished, I don't think.
So just to be clear, the pumps what through into the system and then into your face? Just air through the system, basically.
Just air. Okay. So the air gets this container here will be filled with CO2 GANS, well, CO2 and zinc GANS. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So
yeah.
You get the fields from the CO2 GANS are put into the air that's flowing through the tubes, and then you're breathing that air. So that gets the CO2 enhanced air into your lungs.
Right. So, what if you put the aquarium pump maybe on top of the top part of the container, so it's taking in the vapors as well? Maybe have the vapors come into it from the plasma vapors would come through too.
Well,
I mean, you could put it in another container
has got a little filter. Yeah. Well, I guess there's different ways of doing it. This was the way Klaus was explaining it there a couple of weeks ago on one of the trainings.
Yeah,
so you can get medical air pumps too instead of using the fish tank pump. But Klaus was saying they're a little noisier than fish tank pumps, and he didn't. He felt the fish tank pumps would work just as good, and that these are dirt cheap actually. So so
right on.
If it doesn't work, I can use it for GANS making.
Or you could put ice cubes in and have it as a cool air that you're breathing in on a hot day. Hey? I wonder that might be good actually with the GANS in there to have it cooled that way. In fact, you can freeze the whole thing as far as that goes.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought it would be a good thing to try, because whenever I get a cold, it always seems to settle in my lungs, and I can't get it out of my lungs. For a week or two. So So I thought that would be a good thing to have around, and for the next time I get a cold.
That would be a great experiment.
Actually, I'm going to send one to my mom and dad. They're getting on an age, and they may be able to use it.
Right on. Did Klaus have any recommendation on the GANS mixture? Sorry, Lee,
well, he was just using CO2.
Your video froze there. Your video froze there briefly. It seems okay now, though. Go ahead.
He was just using CO2. If I remember right, I should go back and re-listen to that training. But I think it was just CO2, and the CO2 with the zinc involved in it too. So you got CO2 and zinc.
Yeah, right. It seems like you probably want both of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And Klaus was making them up for some other doctors and stuff. So he's made a few of these so far, I do believe.
Cool.
So.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about that or comments? Time's up. Okay, next.
I have a question.
All right.
Is that medical tubing or just regular PVC tubing? Like silicone tubing?
No, this is medical tubing.
Okay.
So this is you buy the chin mask in this 7-foot, I guess it's about a 5-foot tube, has one item, and then this 25-foot tube that in here, that's oxygen tubing. And I still got to get, this is a double output pump, and I still got to get a T in here to get the two outputs together. I'm not sure that you have to go with medical tubing in here, but
I think
that's what Klaus suggested.
Idea.
So
yeah, that's a great idea. I hadn't even thought about that. Thanks for that question. That's a good one. It's kind of important, actually. You wouldn't want to be breathing just the PVC tubing. It's kind of like when you drink. Remember in the old days, when you in the summertime when you had the garden hose laying out in the sun, and then you take a drink of water from the end of the garden hose.
Yes. Ooh, I remember.
Yeah, it used to be really bad, right? Well, it'd be similar to that with regular PVC hose, probably.
yeah, and this tubing comes with this special fitting on it, and it's weird because it has the same fitting on each end of the hose, so they don't connect together. But just a 3/16 barbed brass fitting will slip inside of this to connect them if you're going to be doing it.
There's like an inner and outer hose in there, isn't there?
Well, yeah.
I mean, they don't they deliver through both? It's like split when it goes in.
Like I'm not sure the mask has got the tube that fits inside of it.
Special fitting.
And that just plugs in.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is, at least I think it's weird, you'd think you'd have a male and female on each end of the tube you buy, but they'll come with I guess you'd call it the female connector end on it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I've run into
anyway,
that before. Mm-hmm.
So anyway, this barbed 3/16 barbed fitting seems to work great for connecting them together. So
okay. All right. Well, it'll be interesting to see what results you get from that. Anything else there, Lee? Or
I just wanted to tell you, Lee, I love that you're so productive. It's amazing.
It is. Yeah. He's
love building stuff.
yeah. He's a builder, a creator. Right on. Well, you're certainly welcome on the spaceship anytime, Lee. On my spaceship, no problem. Come aboard. We'll have
when's the inaugural flight? I'm waiting. Can't
As
wait.
soon as you machine out the power supply for it for me.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we all should have our specialty that we are working on. There you go. Perfect. That looks just about right. Yeah.
I'll tell you about that some other day.
Yeah. That has the magic connectors on the end, yeah. So anything else you want to pull out of your hat there, or force people to look at me?
Give us a glimpse.
Pardon me? This
is Breaker Jenny. Lee, you're just going to give us a glimpse of that, or what is it?
He's doing a big tease on that one, all right. Oh.
You want this is inspired by Denny, by the way, with his
that's why he brought it up,
decahedrons on the corners.
Yeah.
But the idea is you can put I was gonna put a car mag grav in the middle of the three on the bottom, and the middle of the three going up, and then connect the wires at the corners. So basically, you got your what is it, delta Y or delta whatever connection for the electrical part, and going up the center, there's actually another tube that goes down there. I was going to put in these tubes, I'm going to fill them with GANS, and in this one down here, I was going to put lead GANS down in this one, and then maybe I'll put hydrogen up top for the center part, and I'll have might have another car mag grav here and maybe 2 more car mag gravs on top. So it's in the Starship formation kind of thing. But well, anyway, that's my pipe dream flying machine right now.
Are you open for suggestions?
Sure.
Where you're putting those joints, tetrahedral joints there?
Yep.
Put your car. Put your.
Sorry about that. I didn't have my. Can get harnessed up here to my headphones. I was lucky to even remember my head today, so. All right, there we go. That should be better on the live stream. Sorry about that. I'll have to try to patch that up later.
So,
all right.
So here I am, breaker. Here comes Denny. Here's my suggestions. Where you have your 3-way joint, your tetrahedral joint there, that's where you should put your car mag grav, or some kind of a mag grav, or some kind of a reactor, so that you're trying to make these your star formation. I mean, I would suggest that you make that your star formation, and there's where you put your mag grav. And also, Thomas, he has some pretty good things that he showed us last week. Okay. So right there in the joint. I know you have your ideas, and so and you should run with them. But I'm just saying that for me, I would put my reactors in the corners.
Okay, my idea is I'll have a reactor here, reactor there. That gets the base 3 reactors. The plasma can flow around these tubes because in the wooden blocks it's hollow in the middle. I'm gonna
yes, I see that, and it's
these blocks in epoxy to make them waterproof. And then I was thinking on this other one, there's 3 more mag gravs going in here, and it should concentrate the free plasma right in the center because they're all in there fairly tight. And then I'll have I was thinking 3 on top. I'm going to try and fit one in on just under beneath here, and then 2 on top. And this center one sort of acts as an antenna. I'm not sure whether I might put a wire down the center of it so that it's one of the other groups has got some kind of antenna design where they got the heavy wire going up with the brass ball on the top of the wire, and then it goes down into they got the lead GANS at the bottom and the lighter GANS on the top, and of course they have some different coil arrangements around. They don't use the car mag gravs, of course. They just use coils. And
yeah, you have a very good idea there. The thing that you got a very good idea. So you got a purpose for that?
Well, as I say, we're in this what do they call it electrically? The delta Y. One's a delta.
One's a delta. Yeah, one's a delta. One's a Y. So the Y. The Y would be the where you got your left hand there. From that, depending on how you look at it, would be that out.
So the idea is on electrical delta Y, this is neutral in the center, and this is your 3 phases, okay? Mm-hmm. So my mag gravs are in the center here. The wire comes off each direction. So and then I got these other 3 going up here. So I got 3 wires coming here, connecting, 3 wires here, and 3 wires here. And of course 3 wires on top. So I'm wondering if I'm going to get a potential difference between here and here and here and here, like if I get 3 phases or whatever. And I was going to connect them in the corners with this infinity loops with a triple core infinity loop. Maybe that'll give it a bit of an oscillation as well.
Yeah,
so
I think that's the key word is oscillation. Exactly.
So
I was just going to note, just let me note a quick idea that while I'm still thinking about it, while you reminded me, you said potential between the 2 points, and then you said oscillation. So maybe we should be thinking of it more as an oscillation than a potential. as what I'm thinking, because there's a difference there. There's a potential is static, you might say, whereas the oscillation starts to get into the dynamic structure more. Anyway,
Yeah,
go ahead. Sorry.
So if it does have an oscillation, I could take it off here and go to a maggrav, and then the maggrav into a power output kind of thing, possibly. But that's sort of guesswork right now on my part, whether it'll actually work as a power unit. Of course, the other way, I've got it in the Starship formation. Who knows? Maybe I'll get some lift out of it. I don't know.
Well,
So
I will note that when you look at pyramid structures, and when they look at the resonance within a pyramid structure, especially on the nano level, copper oxide pyramids and gold pyramids and so on, the resonance, one of the resonant points is along the side of the pyramid, on each of the sides instead of the peak or the bottom. In other words, where you're going to position your reactors. So
okay.
halfway between the tubes basically is one of the points where all the energy can come out, as well as the top, especially where there's a rotating magnetic field at the top of these nanostructures that they make that are pyramid shaped. They automatically, when they're pyramid shaped, have a rotating magnetic field right at the tip. And that when you have a whole whack of them on a nanostructure, on a nano surface, then that actually conducts a magnetic field right along the surface. It's like a superconductor, or all these little rotating, I think they call them plasmons or something like that. So maybe you might be correct to put the reactors in the midpoints there. I like that idea.
Yeah.
So there's, excuse me, go ahead, Glee, go ahead.
Go ahead, Denny.
All I was going to add is that I was just going to add some legs. Put some legs on it so you can get your reactors just a little bit off of the ground, so you can let them oscillate better.
So it can jump a bit.
So that so they don't get grounded so much.
Like
yeah,
idea.
Right. Good point. At least on a table or something, I guess, not on the floor especially.
So he has the joints there in the corner. He can make legs on those joints.
And you think they should be legs with like GANS in them, or just insulating legs, like, I don't know, just plastic or something to keep them from, to keep the pyramid, is it the pyramid shape that's specific, that is the geometry that's correct and so on, and all we have to do is elevate it, or like, maybe we could.
He could put 3 legs that are in the same on the same diagonal as the sides are, and it'd be a tripod. And if he wishes to, he could put his battery capacitors in those legs, if he wishes to, or he could do all sorts of adventures. And that's just another little side note there. Not that you should do it. It's just that that might be a possibility to consider.
Yeah, I think you're right, Denny. I think it needs to have space around it. So it's not dampening out the fields.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mr. Keshe has talked about that before with the other configurations for the Starship configurations and different, like down in Arizona and so on. They put it all on a table instead of laying it out on the floor, because it got it up, and you're able to get the fields underneath then, and plus you can measure the fields underneath as well. You don't have to go downstairs that way.
My problem is I start too many projects and never finish them.
You just need a bigger warehouse, obviously, and more employees. You could could probably have 100 people working under you, Lee, all doing different projects very easily. That would be great fun, actually. So, you have any thoughts that you might actually want to do that one day instead of whatever it is you do for your...
Instead of a factory, you mean?
Yeah. Well, it's sort of like a factory, I guess. It'd be more like a experimental research and development area, I think. But
the problem is you need some money, and I don't have any.
that's why you have all your employees contribute to the community company, let's say. I don't know. There's probably some way to do it. But anywho.
Yeah, you're doing real good right now.
Yeah.
It's called the Amazing Lee Coates Show.
Yeah. We wouldn't want to disturb it by any means. So, alrighty. How you doing there, Lee? Anything else behind you there that you're trying to hide from us, or are we good for now?
I got a question.
Okay.
I'm gonna share screen here if I.
Okay.
Just let me open a couple windows here. Okay. Share screen. Oh, what did I get? What do you guys see right now?
Eduardo.
Gaggianti.
We see a picture.
This was came off Golden Age of GANS a few days back, and he did this infrared spectroscopy of zinc GANS. And he was looking for the various components in the CH bonds or whatever. But the interesting one actually is the other one for CuO. And he found this carbon atom in the mix in this. So he said, we're not producing CuO. We're producing, he figures it's more like CuO3. So it sort of gets to the question is, what the heck are we producing when we make our GANSes? Now, I want to share my spreadsheet. New share.
Yeah, Mr. Keshe has talked about that before, that it's not really CuO.
Yeah, so
because copper oxide is black normally, so it's not a it's not.
That's just what I was going to get into. Copper oxide, the CO is black. The CuO2, copper peroxide, is green, but it's unstable, and it slowly goes back to the two stable forms, which are the black one and the actual copper colored one, which is Cu2O, which is copper 1 oxide, or cuprous oxide. But then from the golden age of GANS, we had the copper carbonate, because he found that carbon atom in there. But this that CuCO3, it's not found in nature, according to Wikipedia. It was only first synthesized back in the 1970s. But there's two other carbonates that are found in nature. This Cu2CO3OH2, and it's a green color, and that's the green color you see on copper roofs. Okay, and it's a fairly stable one. But then there's the other one, this Cu3CO32OH2 copper 2 carbonate hydroxide, which is a blue color. So I'm wondering if it's this last one, this other copper carbonate, that is what we're actually producing in our when we make our GANSes.
Keep in mind, Lee, that infrared spectroscopy, it's not going to tell you whether or not they're bonded. It doesn't say, it's not telling us if the carbon is actually bonded to the copper.
Okay.
Only that it's there in the mix.
And the other blue copper is this copper hydroxide, which is a CuOH, two of them, OH2. Two OHs.
This copper 2 hydroxide used to be a precipitate.
So one of my questions is the molecule in the matter state the same color as the molecule in the GANS state? And can we use the color as an indication, or sort of an indication of what we're producing?
What's interesting, in GANS state, you have no molecule.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, Lee, Mr. Keshe has mentioned a number of times that the colors between the GANSs can vary dramatically. Copper can, the copper oxide GANS can go anywhere from green to blue to brown. It can be all over the place. CO2 can be light blue. It can be light green. It can be all over the place. So other than a really broad classification, the blue stuff is probably copper. The red stuff is probably CH3. That's about as far as we can take it, because it depends on the conditions. It depends on the isotopes of whatever you're bringing in. Like if you're making CO2 with electricity, you're probably not getting carbon-12. You might be getting an isotope of carbon. It's still CO2, but it's going to have different properties.
Okay. Well, another thing where I'm getting at is if we're trying to find out what the strength of our GANSs are, CuO is a strength of 80. But this other molecule, you add all that up, it gets to a strength of 346. So, it makes a huge difference depending on what's in the actual GANS. What molecules are sort of in it to make up the GANS molecule, or whatever if you can call it a molecule.
Yeah, well, it's like Sandor mentioned, that in the GANS we don't really have molecules anymore. All we have is plasma packets.
Yeah, and, but we got different atoms in there, or different. We got copper, we got oxygen, we got different things in the packet. So, the question, of course, the big problem is we don't know what's in the packet.
But do we have the actual elements, or just the strength of the element in the packet? That's the thing, though. Maybe it becomes, we have to transform it to get the actual element. It's like, when you have a blue colored liquid, you could say it's copper in there, but it's copper in an ionic form or in its plasma form. It's all stripped off. It doesn't, it's already a charged ion. It's not a elemental particle as such. It's no longer the yellow hard stuff. It's now just a color blue.
Yeah, I think for the general purpose use that we're putting them to now, the health devices, the energy devices, and so on, I think as long as we're in the ballpark, we're okay. The real fussiness isn't going to come until we're dealing with making materials or force fields. Where the strengths, knowing the strength specifically, will be very critical. So, but I understand what you're talking about, Lee. It's kind of drives me crazy too. The math just doesn't seem to work out. And the only way I can make it even remotely work is to go by the number of neutrons. You do the math, 5% for or take 5% off of your nanomaterials, add it to your base metals, and that gives you the difference between, subtract the difference between those gives you the number of neutrons that you're trying to bring in, and so far that's only worked with copper or with carbon. So I'm still trying to figure out this math. It's driving me nuts.
Yeah. Another interesting one is with lead. Just straight lead oxide is PBO is in the matter state is red or yellow. It's not white. The PbO2 lead 4 oxide is black. The Pb3O4 is a vivid orange color. And yeah, we're getting a white. There's something else called white lead, which is this 2 PbCO3 PbOH2, which it's a bigger molecule in the matter state, and that one's white. So I just, if this is what we're sort of getting the fields of in the GANS state, it's got this huge number for its relative strength kind of thing. So I sort of thought that was interesting. The difference in the strength between just PbO and this white lead is about a factor of 4 or something. So I just thought that was interesting too.
Yeah, another thing that comes to mind is the colors that we see aren't necessarily the color of the whatever we're looking at. It's only what isn't being absorbed by that. So it can be really variable. From what I understand, that they can be all over the map. It depends on their conditions, how they're made, how they're stored, a whole bunch of different things.
Think about the battery terminals on a car battery. Lead terminals with lead connectors can often have all those colors coming out of them and like oozing out from these battery terminals. You can have a corrosion actually that can start going right up the wire and everything else. And in many different colors, especially when it hits the copper, between the copper and the heavy lead, it produces some pretty interesting. You throw in a few other metals on a battery terminal, and you're actually making a battery on the terminal with all the different materials.
There was something else. Rick, maybe you can help me with this. Mr. Keshe was quite some time ago, probably a year and a half ago, he was saying that when you do the testing on the GANSs, you have to use a very specific process because the typical normal processes you're not going to get the right results. Yeah,
I was going to mention that actually. Like I was talking with somebody on a chat yesterday about that, which is like normally what they do for, what is it, I forget which of the tests exactly, but they take something like GANS, like our CO2 GANS, which is in liquid, it's this beautiful, fluffy, floating stuff and has these magical properties. Well, the first thing to do to test it is you have to dry it out into a powder. All right, well, it destroys about half the properties, or 90% there probably. And then they take those little beautiful little crystals they dried out and crush the heck out of them until they're pounded and crushed up into nothingness. And then they start to do the tests, and only on a little portion of what they've crushed and destroyed into nothingness by that point. So any of the goodness has been taken out of it, whatever that might be. And what's left is a bunch of crushed crystals, which may or may not resemble the initial actual GANS material as such. It's sort of like making it all back into the physicality. It's like pounding it into submission. You will be what we prove to be. You will fit into our charts. And the problem is, you go to look at, I've tried to look up some of these charts, like what we just saw with the, the peaks on the, we had like 3 peaks or whatever on that example he gave there. These, well, it turns out that what they usually do is you notate these peaks, and it goes into a data bank of all the peaks. And it's supposed to match up. They have these matching up algorithms that match up the peaks with what it's supposed to be. So you figure it's got, carbon and copper or whatever. It'll be some carbon, copper, derivative or whatever it's supposed to be according to the way it lines up with the charts and whatnot. But unfortunately, they've never done charts for GANS, and they've never done charts for a lot of the materials, it turns out, because there either has been no need for it, or some of the materials, like some of the carbonates and other things like we were looking at in Lee's example there, some of them are very transitory. Like one was mentioned, it was unstable. Well, there's many unstable ones. That's the whole thing. And it might be that the unstable ones are actually the good ones that we're trying to stabilize or to activate or whatever. Some of them only last momentary, like picoseconds, or some very short, you know, maybe a second or two in some of them. And then they transform into the more stable forms and whatnot. So there's a lot that the scientists don't really, aren't really clear about yet with that. And I think that we can help people from the Keshe Foundation, especially those that are more science orientated. And there's now an opportunity to partake in these data banks. There's some of these companies open up the data basically, and you can put in your results for the material you are testing and the peaks, and you put in what you say it is according to all the existing data and so on. But it's a lot of it is a matter of interpretation, how the data is interpreted. So that when you get these peaks, and it depends on the amplitude of the peak and where it is exactly, and sometimes there's little peaks beside it, and sometimes they aren't even right on where they're supposed to be. They could be over a couple of numbers, and then they say, well, it's close enough, and you look it up on the chart, and you know, it must be this because it's right beside it, and we didn't tune the equipment just right to make the peaks all line up, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of fudge factor, I think, built into that. But they're rapidly building up the database. They've got, you know, I think it's in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of different elements and compounds and so on that they're able to get tests and peaks on. I think we need to add to that whole database with the stuff that we create so that we can learn more about it, what it is, and that now we could point to others and say, well, this is, you know, we call it CO2 GANS, but it's actually such and such carbonate or some sort of CO3. It's not CO2, it's CO2 locked into a CO3 carbonate configuration. That's much more likely. Mr. Keshe has talked about that. It's not actually CO2 that we're looking at. It's actually a derivative, but it pulls the CO2 from the atmosphere or from the liquid and binds it, or bonds onto it and forms this special substance and so on. Anyway, I think there's a lot more to look into that with. Did any of that make sense? Did I just ramble? I should have had a picture or something maybe, but anyway.
Can I add something here?
Sure.
I just had a aha moment of what we're doing is we're labeling and trying to define, and we do need in some ways to know the very details of it. But if we go back to its essence, which is what really plasma science is about, is the essence that already exists within us and all around us, and just communicate with the essence of it, I think we will pull in what we need at all times. Yes,
exactly. That's the essence of the whole thing. But how do you tell that to a scientist? How can they objectively test that?
There's the right word, objectively.
Yes.
Is there really anything objective, really, in the very big picture?
Well, this is another big question. Yes, indeed.
Or is it all the essence of everything?
Yes.
We've gotten lost in the details. Remember that we said that.
Well, that's what science is all about, is the details. And that's the big fallacy about it in a way, because every time you do an experiment, that experiment indicates 2 other experiments from it.
Exactly.
And then you do those experiments, and they indicate other experiments from them, and it just break down, break down, break down, break down.
The science
until
as
you're,
we've been taught it, the
yeah.
science as we've been taught it has led us down a road that may need to be really examined to say, wow, it's like us labeling plants rather than knowing the essence of that plant, of really feeling that plant, going back inside ourselves. And we've lost this knowledge, and it's coming back to
Well, cannot that knowledge or those feelings, essentially, so you're feeling the fields then, right? Which is, that's the difference between the scientists, which are figuring the fields or projecting what they might look like, or labeling them, and in the past, in the future. But the actual feeling of the fields, by definition, is in the moment now. You're either feeling fields right now, or you're not feeling fields right now.
Right.
And, most people are feeling fields, whether they recognize it or not. And the fields could be anything from the heat coming off a heater to, the vibes from your neighbors, even though you don't hear anything or whatever. It's different gradations of fields and feeling and so on.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, and our feelings, we have all been indoctrinated and manipulated so much by this system of science and math that may not actually be workable math. And it's like a layer preventing us from getting into the feeling of things, because it's really been taught out of us. And I think we need to come back into it.
Well, could it be possible that someone can have both worlds? In other words, be a scientist and have the feelings and do the science as far as the physicality stuff at the same time?
That's what we're all doing, but we don't recognize we're doing it. We're all plasma scientists, right? Because none of us know what we're working with, really.
Well, this is what I'm saying. That's because we tend to go toward more like what you're saying, rather than the actual, like most of us here have a science background, but yet we don't really dive into all the, we aren't really pushing for all the sciencey details and so on. We'd rather push for, what do you feel? That kind of thing, rather than all the details, like exactly how many volts was it and so on and so forth.
And that's why our testimonials are so good too, because it's how the people who are using it feel.
Yes, indeed. But we still need to validate. Well, I don't know if we need to, but I think there is a necessity.
They are validating it by watching us, by doing what we're doing. They're watching people heal themselves, or rebalance themselves. We're all out of balance because we've been manipulated by this wordage, labels, to think outside of ourselves rather than using ourselves, our beautiful reactors that we all are, to create what we want. We're creators. And so we get lost in the details to validate ourselves through a science that's not even accurate, which is holding us back. Well, it's not holding us back, because these are steps we have to take. But if we come back to learning about magnets and plasma like we all are, and playing with it, and watching each other's experiences with it, and just stay with that and let science, it's validated. Science should validate it. If they can't, that's their tools that aren't working.
See, Libby, this is Denny.
Yes.
You just mentioned it, science and tools. There's a difference between science and tools. The tools are there so that we can have an idea of how to explain the science. So the tools are needed. In fact, when you start to look at it, our maggrav units are tools that help us explain the plasma fields and the energy we get off of it. And so the science, and then we have the tools we use in the science are actually two different things in a way. And so we're developing tools that help us explain our feelings, our understanding as well, so that we can communicate with each other on a there's a way to communicate on the feeling method, but there's also the tools are used to help us to explain and to manipulate the plasma. That's
exactly,
it.
Exactly. And that's why when we use the magnets in a ball to explain magnetism to people, which is that main field, then they can start to understand the rest of the magic of what we're doing, because magnetism is so magical. And sometimes we get lost in experiments that don't empower others. And if we can empower everybody to really learn the basics of what Mr. Keshe has taught us, it's magnets first, plasma, and then gravitation. So people really understand what we're doing.
The magnet itself is a tool too. You can look at the
absolutely, exactly. But maybe that's our primary tool for teaching others.
Well, actually, that's interesting you brought that up, because I just ran across a movie. I was just going to bring it up here. I have to remember who it came from. But the fellow is experimenting with magnets, and he's incredibly brilliant. But what he's using is a viewer of a magnetic field. He's made this special viewer that lights up the magnetic field of the magnet. So he's got a ring magnet that Mr. Keshe often likes to play with, you know, the circular, sort of a donut-shaped magnet.
Yeah.
And he's put that on this viewer. And the viewer is showing an incredible, that sort of cross-hatched, almost a flower of life setup, and you can start to understand that there's two different fields happening. There's not just the fields that come around the magnet like the iron filings show it, but it's a much more involved, beautiful
like a toroidal
field.
Like
yes, exactly. Yeah. That's right. There's actually two toroidal fields, and they both overlap each other in at a certain angle and shape and so on. And he's actually able to see a cross section of that, and it's more or less like the flower of life sort of configuration. And it's the essence, like he says, it's the magnetics, the magnet. In this case, he's got LEDs that light up the actual magnetic field in this sort of a disc-shaped thing that he's made. And it's the interaction between magnetism and light that's so interesting as part of the structure. And like he says, it's magnetism and light. Those are the two cores, forces that, you know, or things of the universe that start to interact and actually create things and so on. And
what's the name of that movie?
Well, let me get it up here. I'll have
cool.
to go back and have a look. I won't be able to show it on my thing here, but I can give the link and you can have a look at it. Let me find it here.
Well, while you're giving that a tick, let me ask you a question. When he was showing this, did he have two magnets interacting with each other, or did he have a singular magnet alone? Because a lot of times, if you don't have a bridge for the magnetism to flow to the other, you don't see the fields as easy. So I was just asking if he had more than one magnet involved.
It's let me see, the fellow's name. I don't like to show videos without getting permission, and so I can't do that on
you'll have to put it in the chat or something.
Yeah, I'll put the link in the chat. Let me just get it lined up here. And the title of I'll put it in the live stream chat too. Let's see here. Okay, I think that went through. And it's called, oh yes, look, Taurus appears on giant supercell. That's what he calls this device to look at the fields. And so the link's in the chat. The fellow's name is Theoria Apophysis. And I don't know if that's actually his name or if that's just the website actually. And he does a bunch of work with magnets, and he's an interesting character. And if you have a look at that video, which is about 3 minutes long, it shows some very interesting structures that can be formed that look basically three-dimensional. Briefly, I'll explain what he's got. He's got the magnet, and he puts the magnet on this device that I was talking about that's lit up. It's got, I think, 15 LEDs around the perimeter. And in the middle of it, it has two pieces of glass that are squished together. And in between the glass is this special ferrofluid. Ferrofluids are responsive to magnetic fields, right? And he says it's less than a micron thick. That's pretty thin. Less than a micron thick, this ferrofluid, in between the two pieces of glass squished together. And these pieces of glass are lit up by light. And if you look at the video, it looks like it actually, he says it looks like it has a 4-inch depth. When you look into this structure with the magnet on it, it looks like you can see this three-dimensional magnetic field, but actually it's just a cross-section of this three-dimensional, 4 or 5, 6-dimensional, I don't know how many dimensional field. So have a look at it.
That's something that can help people understand the fields around us.
Exactly, right? Exactly. This is, like he says, this is a real-time viewer. Oh, people can sort of see it on my computer there. I think I can get away with that. Let's try. I don't think YouTube can nail me. This is for educational purposes anyway. Well, doesn't work too well, but...
Yeah, hi guys, it's Tom.
You kind of get the drift.
I think this gentleman got this, is not the ferro liquid inside. This is like a special magnetic foil.
It's
Something
not a foil, it's the
No,
ferro.
it's not a foil.
No,
it's a liquid. It's a
That
liquid.
with foil is a different
It's a
product.
liquid.
Sorry for talking.
Right, because that's
Yeah.
like a few layers of this foil. I mean, it's probably...
No, it's not a foil.
All right.
It's a liquid between
All right.
2 layers of glass.
All right, because I didn't read it. Looks cool anyway.
Yeah, he makes these, and it's not a new idea, actually. It's kind of a way that, if you look at that one, it's quite incredible, actually. And if you look at all the detail involved in there.
You can Google for ferrocell.us to find the manufacturer's website.
Oh,
In order
okay.
these products in different sizes, different prices, of course. What would be interesting, here between two thin plates of optical glass, there is a very thin layer of liquid with special nanoparticles, which are part of the invention for this product. And it would be interesting to replace those ferromagnetic nanomaterials with different GANSes.
Yes, exactly. That was my thoughts on that. I wanted to start bringing that up. And especially like anything that might be responsive to magnetic fields, but it might not be just magnetic fields. Maybe other fields would be responsive. Maybe instead of a magnet, maybe a plasma capacitor would show, show its fields when the viewer was used, let's say.
Yeah, it's a genial invention. It's the light which comes from the sides, which makes those nanoparticles to reflect the light in a different way.
Right.
Light which comes from the edge.
That's right.
Which makes define one particle or the other. So that's why I see here some huge possibilities just to change that suspension of ferromagnetic nanoparticles with other kind of nanoparticles.
Yes, and the thing about it is its whole secret is in the thinness. It has to be less than a micron thick is the deal, and yet it seems to show like a three-dimensional structure. It's quite an incredible idea. I like that. And like Libby was saying, this is, and like the fellow talks about, this is not something that has electrical circuits in it. It doesn't have all kinds of, it's got some LEDs. That's the only electrical part. And it's real-time viewing of the fields here. When you, you know, if you look at it, when it's actually playing and he's moving it around and so on, you can actually see the different field structures that are created and he tries other magnets and so on. There's I think 3 or 4 of his videos now for people to check out. So do have a look and see what you think. It seems he is convinced that he's discovered something different with all this structure and so on, and has a name for it. He's got a book that's coming out that talks about all this and so on. He thinks that is basically a new discovery in magnetism. So interesting. I like the idea of the real-timeness about it, and it's right there, easy to look at and easy to do.
And it helps people understand, and this is what we're trying to do, right? To help everyone understand how powerful we really are.
To me, when he was talking about this, it reminded me of what Mr. Keshe has always said, where there's not just, you know, one field. There's 2 interacting fields to create these structures, and you can see it in the crisscrossing here of the fields where they intersect each other and so on. And it's not just, you know, like the field lines we normally see out of magnets and so on. They're sort of just all, it's in a sort of a toroid shape, but it hasn't been defined as crisscrossing structure to form sort of a web or a support or a fractal structures and so on that you could see that have, you know, connections. These fields are connecting and reaching out way out into space. It's not just a little field around the magnet here and so on. And it's interesting the way it's shown. And
we're all about space travel, aren't we?
And we are a toroidal field ourselves, similar to this. It's just we don't have the viewer to look at it, other than some people maybe can see the fields of the human being. And I think most people can sense the fields in a way. We sense the emotional states of others. We sense the you know, when someone comes into a room, we sense a difference in the room when they come in and things like that. But what if we could actually see fields, you know, emanating from people in a more direct way, maybe through special viewer goggles that were similar to this, and you look through and you go, oh my God, I had no idea your field was so big.
I think that's what's happening. I think the GANSs are helping us increase our ability to perceive those fields in some way. It may not be through what we normally call our sight, but from a heightened sense. And that is actually coming to humanity. I mean, it's a wish from so many people. We have to believe it's happening.
And some people in the past, they've had those abilities, so it's not special. The special part is that is now available to the average person rather than just the elite.
Exactly.
The elite who have maybe a few Tibetan monks up in a cave and a few shamans in the Amazon and some witch doctors and some of the witches of the medieval times that get burned at the stake and lost a lot of the knowledge there and so on. People had these abilities in the past, but it wasn't developed. And now we have changes happening on the planet, on a planetary, on a solar system, and universal basis. Big changes are happening,
And
as well as
the veils are lifting.
The veils are opening,
lifting the layers.
lifting.
I mean, all the corruption is being exposed. Everything is changing. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's rapidly changing. And then we consider the idea that, I mean, you mentioned GANS, and yes, GANS is a big part of it, but also consider that our human biological form is what, at least 90 or more % GANS as well. So we are a big bag of GANS essentially. And that's the secret of the shamans and others that have learned to control that bag of GANS and actually create energies and bring in energies and control energies and learn to work with work with these energies, or call them what you will, to try to, either for the benefit of their community or for the benefit of all beings. And some of them may have used it for other nefarious purposes and personal and other paid performances, let's say. But generally that's the way it's been going, is for the benefit of others. It's hard to use it against. It's not an anti thing. It's either you're for love or emptiness. There's no against love. You can't be against love, because there's either love or absence of love. There's no hate, is actually just absence of love. So there's no anti, in a way, when you get into that dimension.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go to breaker. Okay.
Thank you, breaker. I think we had a couple.
I'm going to go to Thomas too. But the only thing I wanted to say is that in the live stream, the link isn't showing that you just gave.
Oh, okay. Then
and Thomas, that's excuse me for.
No problem. Thank you, sir.
Well, it shows for me. I have to do it in a different form on the
guys, I got kind of quite interesting observation with this visibility for this field. An observation is when you got the big system, the big health station, and you spend a lot of time inside the station. It's too early and to say is a common thing, but actually many people report they start to see things in a different way. They start to see actually this field around. We call this aura, or this bunch of many different names, but it's always the same thing. Also, me too. This is funny thing, and sometimes you get this kind of flashes, a few minutes or sometimes longer. Depends on your mood and everything. And you see this. It's very, very interesting stuff. You see this field around the people. You see the field around the coils, around the nano-coated stuff, around the GANSes. I got many situations with these crazy mirrors, and when I physically saw the fields between, and not only me, because it was few people, it was like 4 or 3 people, and we all see the same things. So, but everyone actually participate with this big health station. And seriously, if you're spending a lot of time inside the system, your perception slightly go to change, and you start to see things was completely, I don't say forbidden or completely behind or something like that. So it's quite interesting observation. If you get a big health station, just go park yourself inside the station every single day for I don't know, maybe 1 hour, maybe longer, and you need to find your own way. But I think I think the fields if fields is quite strong, they actually expand us not only visibility, actually many things, consciousness, the way how we feel things, and everything just basically grow up. And this is the quite interesting observation I get with these big systems.
A breaker for Thomas. Thomas, I'm glad to see you here. I had a bunch of questions from you, and I don't need to do them right now, but I also wanted to see your health unit if you were able to show it. And so when you and Rick coordinate your particular time, I would like to see that.
All right. The which one? Because now actually I build kind of prototype, the small version. They look like MAGRaph, and we gotta do some tests because we got very young gentleman with very serious health problems and stuff like that, and it's a good opportunity to check maybe they're gonna help him. It's like a small unit looking like MAGRaphs basically, and this is the big one with these tubes with the columns. Which one is?
Well, Rick, you're the MC here, so are you ready to go into this, or do you have a different agenda?
Yeah, absolutely, sure, we can go for that. If you want to show something there, Thomas, let's get into it. Do you want to?
Well, I'd like to see them both, if you would, Thomas. And I also want to ask where you got the hemispheres. I think you said they were polycarbonate hemispheres to make your amber spheres or your resin spheres.
All right, okay. Guys, I will need a few minutes because I show you something. I think this is something, it's not about health system, but actually this is about, it's like a small tip. If always we get a lot of piece of copper after when we do all these coils and capacitors and stuff like that. It's like a small piece of coppers, and many people just don't know what to do with this and they just throw to the rubbish. I got fantastic idea. That's what I do now. Actually, I need to clean up a little bit and I show you the health system. But the first things.
Can you show your video, or what did you want to show there?
I got on my table actually now. All right, I show you.
Well, we can give you a few. If
you want a couple of minutes there or something.
Oh, there it is.
Yourself out.
That's gonna be great.
There it is.
Okay, just a minute. Let me get it. I have to get it on my.
Okay, this is all the, let's say, junk after coils and after all these capacitors. I got plenty of them. And so the good idea, sorry for my shaking hands with the camera, the good idea is take the stuff like that and cut them through the small pieces. This is something like that. So that's the first step. The next step, you need to apply solution, close the box, and after then, you got something like that. The black, small piece of copper. And if you like drop in your garden or any kind of places, so it's completely black, you didn't see this. But I think guys, you got it, what's going on inside this small pot. So, all right. And that's the black one. That's the fresh ones. Okay, and sharpness, camera. All right, come on, camera. Sorry for my. They try stabilize. Okay, anyway, I think
we got the idea there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That and filings too. If you ever do filings and to make, you can collect.
If you like to make field, because the story behind it is how to make the field. I'm gonna switch the camera for a few seconds. I'm gonna just explain very briefly. If you like to make fields in your garden everywhere, especially if you got your MAGRaph at home and you got this field around, it's quite interesting idea. Just cut all the piece of copper wire to the small bits of piece, nano-coat them, use the correct GANSes, whatever you like, different combination, different properties, as we know, and spread them somewhere between your flowers, between your grass, in a park, whatever. This is like a small tip. If you get a lot of small copper wires, so I need the guys to just a few seconds, just clean up everything, and I will show you all these medical units, okay?
Okay, thank you. Okay, anything anybody has to say to fill in the couple of minutes here?
Well, yes, Rick, you might have the answer to this question too. Did you ever find polycarbonate spheres or hemispheres, or did you find just acrylic?
Well, what I found is I have been using these spheres, which are they're not acrylic. I'm not sure what material it is. It might be a it might even be polycarbonate. I'm not sure, but you can dent it. I mean, you can push it in. It's got flexibility. At the same time, it's got pretty good strength. I haven't had one split apart yet, in spite of going up to considerable RPM. Like most of the little spheres, like this one, for example, that's acrylic. And actually, no, I'm sorry. This one is not acrylic. It's similar to the other one. I can actually dent it with push it in with my finger and so on. And again, it's very thin, but very strong. But most of the ones that size are, like you say, like similar to this one, that's acrylic. And if I was to take this and I could actually crush it with my fingers and it would shatter. Or if I dropped it on the table, it would just totally shatter. The only reason I made this up is so I can do a high-speed experiment with it and see what RPM it takes to actually cause it to
on the bottom, on the top, and actually prepared chair to do this job. And this is the most important thing. At the moment, I need to put the camera on a stable position. Should be fine. Give me a second. So I didn't get any. I don't know. I always get some problem with this camera. This mobile device and it's small. I didn't get any tripod then. So let's try. All right. Okay. I will survive with this. Okay. So that's the small systems. We don't need this. Okay. That's the chair. That's the one maggraph on the bottom of the one column. Is not connected to the column. It's just maggraph as one of the experimental units. Just stay and wait for better time. Anyway, part of experiment. We'll start short. So that's the main unit. That's the first one. That's the health unit, the small one, and that's the second one. It's like two small units. I mean, if you like put bottom of the chair, they exactly something like that. They actually create something like flow between the columns and the helmet and you and the chair. So that's the only one secret with the stackers. That's coils. This is 144 by 81. It's typical size, but everything is connected like the coils through the health systems. So it looks like, because I get all the box with coils, but this is normal 90-degree coil. It's a different size because the second system one I do now is a little bit experimental. I was decide go for different sizes. The normal is 144, but with this system is 126. So the magnetic coil is smaller. Inside you get 81s, same size like before. And the idea for the system for now is basically create, do something like that. The four columns, and surround the chair with these four columns, and you're just sitting inside. And on the bottom, you get this two or one stacker. I didn't decide yet. It's still still middle of the experiment. Still checking what's which version is gonna work better way. I don't know yet. So that's I think is actually the main part of the system, especially when you got two columns. The funny thing, you don't need any extra equipment, anything like that. Everything works, I think, very well. The field is really strong. When you put when you get helmet on your hand or on your head, you feel really solid field. It work very well with people. So, and the secret with the stacker is with the stackers. It's same like a columns. Actually, I duplicate same idea. So the one stacker get ball and a battery and a capacitor. One stacker generate a big field. The other one is like a sucker. It's just basically I don't know how to explain it.
Are they plugged into the grid, or are they just plugged into each other and the plasma batteries and whatnot?
Sometimes to the grid, sometimes to the plasma batteries. I do a lot of experiment with the system now. Okay.
And the tubes, the posts, the tubes, are they attached to the grid, or are they connect independent?
They connect each other with this maggraphs and with this I call them health maggraphs on just like one system. And the idea is generate a signal between the two columns and the helmet, and you on the middle on the chair, and on the bottom you got this like a sync idea. You just drag it all the fields down through these stackers, and they connect. So
are they connected to a ground circuit, or how do you ground everything? Like some people use a pot of seawater, salt water, and run the ground into that.
Yeah, I guess. Wait a moment, I need to put camera on the normal place. Okay. Sorry for the shaking. Nah, always same problem. All right. Okay, this is alternative version. All right, another better option if I'm gonna hold in my hands. Okay, but it's not enough water now. This is one option with the salt water and the sea salt. That's the one option. The second option is connect to the ground by just ground. The next one is connect to the maggraph system just normally, and just use them like I don't know how to explain it in the most easy way. I'm looking for a flow, and if I got the huge field here, I need to create bigger fields on the bottom. So the one field drag another, and you're sitting on the middle. That's the one idea. The other idea is just connect normally in a typical way when you got the salt water and disconnect everything from the grid. And the system works in both ways. I mean, if you like connect through the grid, they work with the grid. If you like connect to the salt water, they work perfectly with the salt water. If you like connect separately, I mean, not connect, if you like to use separately like a single device, they work too. And it's a really amazing story with the stackers, actually. That's quite an interesting thing. All right. Okay. If you're gonna hold the system like that, a different way, sorry, like that, you create actually massive flow between the systems. That's one of the interesting things. If you got person inside the system, you use them like a spotlight, and if it's some problem with some specific part of the body, it's the good idea to operate with some only specific places. You don't need actually, operate on full scale person from head to feet. You just operate in one specific place, whatever you like. This is something like that. And this is the second one. If you like put, for example, fingers or your hand between, you get this feeling, the strong field between, kind of windy effect. And it's few different options. I check now how many options I got now. I mean, I don't know, this is unlimited. Probably.
You mentioned that you feel when you feel the fields in between. You said sort of a windy feeling, like it feels like a breeze a little bit on a little bit of air against your skin. Is that the sensation?
Absolutely. It's like a kind of chilly wind, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, depends of configuration, because of course it's one of the types of configuration when you got different effects when it's warm inside.
I was going to say, sometimes do you feel warm effects as well?
Yeah. But you know what? I got this kind of impression that always depends on person. Some people feel wind, some people feel some warm effect. This is always very individual way how you're gonna feel it, and depends of person. This is difficult to describe and create something like a standardization for your feelings. Almost impossible.
That's right. That's the big problem of describing feelings and so on. Some people might feel like a tingling, or some people might feel something in a different part of their body, even though it's their hand that's in between the fields and so on. Exactly. Some people might have a visual image rather than a feeling thing happen as well. So everybody interprets differently. That's right.
And also, it's not only difference between the person. It's always different with us, because us interaction go to change. The first time, maybe you're gonna feel like a windy effect between. The second time be something different, and probably after 2 weeks or not, you're gonna start to feel something different, like I don't know, kind of electric sparks or warm effect, because it's not always depends of different type of people. It's always, I think, it's more advanced. It's more depends of where we are now. I think, I know this is a good explanation. as fields change too. It's not static situation. It's always change. Okay, and the idea to use them for now, because the system is unfinished yet, we got only 2 columns, because this is the second system with the small coils, and that's the full. Let's say that's a full working system, something like that. You got 2 columns, 2 stacker on the bottom. They work like a sink, and you got your helmet. Everything is connected through the, together. If you like connect to the salt, sea salt, you feel welcome. If you like connect to the ground, electric ground, it's actually, I think, the good idea too. I see plenty of possibilities. Of course, if you're gonna connect to the ground, sometimes you get stronger effect. That's another observation. I mean, also depends on the people, because as we know, everyone get a little bit different way how they feel all this situation. So that's the full idea, something like that. So, and this is with the 2 columns. Normally, when I got 4 columns, the 1 stacker on the bottom is enough. You just need the chair, put the gentleman middle of the 4 columns, and the stacker on the bottom. And the second stacker is good to use to some specific areas on the gentleman body. If you got problem with your leg or kidney, whatever, you just need point them one of the stackers. I use the woody ones, or exactly this one. Like basically, like something like, I didn't get any special holder. That's my problem. I work now on the kind of different stacker, and you just need to point them through yourself or through someone inside the system. And effect is amazing. Work very well, very fast. Okay,
have you ever tried that in conjunction with using your mirror at the same time?
Yes, many times. The mirror are really popular here, and this is very popular. As you see on the bottom, I always hold some mirrors, because normally we use the health pens, and the health pens were fantastic, but many people, I don't know why, get some issues with the health pens. Not the issue, but they didn't feel that strong like mirrors, and the mirrors are basically hit inside the system. The people prefer use the mirrors because they always decide they work better. They the way how they feel is much more strong, and they feel more comfortable with the mirrors. And conjunction with the health pen is also very interesting too, when you hold the mirror in one hand and the health pen in the other hand. And of course, different combination with your fingers, 5 fingers on the mirror, or only 3, or only 2. We're just checking everything now, how they behave. But mirrors actually works fantastic, perfectly with this system. If you like to use the mirrors, you get them quite strong effect. Really,
I was thinking of the mirror could be on top of one of the magravs or on the bottom of one of the magravs, especially when they had them across from each other, like opposing. You could put the mirror on each end, and then it would be sort of like a laser. It would reflect the fields in between, perhaps.
You're talking about something like that?
Yeah, but with the units sideways. So if that was turned on its side and the other one turned on its side, the way you had them before there, with the mirror acting as a reflector, basically, that would be behind the unit.
Yeah. Wait a minute, I need to switch off camera. Sorry, guys, because I get this terribly shaking picture. I can't concentrate my attention on everything. I'm gonna switch off camera. Okay. So, all right. And we're using normally mirrors inside the system. The best effect what I got is the situation when the person sitting inside the system hold the mirrors and try to point mirrors to some critical area, when something is wrong inside the body, and and they looks like they stabilize all the situation very fast and very nice way, and also is this feelings inside your hands. So the people didn't get question. I mean, the people feel more comfortable because when you feel this field physically in a very strong way, you didn't get this problem with, I don't know how to call it, with a belief system or something like that, because some people are, let's say, a little bit skeptical about all the systems, and they try to check, okay, they're gonna work or not. And that's the only one issue with the health plan, because they know the health plans, and they got this sometimes blockade inside the head. They just too much skeptical thinking. And when they got the health plan, they okay, that's the health plan. That's the health plan is normal. I know that they work, or all these comments. But if they got mirrors inside the system, the sensation is, I don't know how many times stronger, but it's definitely much more stronger, and there's no any question about that. People feel much more comfortable with the mirrors. Always got a few different options for everyone, and that's what I do, just checking what people prefer. And some people, I mean, mostly people try the pen, and after a few minutes with the pen is the question, Tom, you got some mirrors? Oh, yeah, of course. Seriously, everyone prefer definitely play with the mirrors. I think because bigger they attract your attention. You get some big black mirrors in your hands, and this is more, they actually attract your attention. And
yeah, sure. I was impressed when you had those two mirrors, especially when you had your knee in between with the two mirrors sort of working with that. But wow, that could really work. That looks like you're really focusing the energy there.
I will try to stop this camera and show you guys. The next time I will try organize some tripod for my camera.
Yeah, you need a tripod for sure. That would help out your presentation a lot.
Well, I kind of forced him into this, so he wasn't quite ready.
All right, so don't look at this one. This is my experiment. So, and very interesting story with the type of mirror, because the mirror was the part of experiment. That's not only one shape when I try. I was trying basically every single shape: square, triangles, rhombs. Everything was possible. I got a lot of copper sheets to some strange shapes, and take ages. This was like a 4 months checking every single shape was possible. So the next solution was this. This sort of mirror. It's not finished yet. The idea is you get one mirror, because I think that's my way of understood this situation. All right, come on, oops. All right, something, everything is fine. All right. Okay, this one is like a capacitor. Sorry, this one is like a capacitor. And this one is like a reactor, because it's whole space inside, so we get plasma field inside. And
it also reminds me of the ring magnet as well. It's a different field than a flat magnet. Yeah,
exactly. And the funny observation is especially with the girls. The girls prefer this way. Some girls with much more better feeling when they use this type of disc with the hole inside. The guys prefer this type of mirrors, the full ones. This one is not finished yet, as you see. And another observation: if you get normal nano-coated layer, we had no polishing. They didn't work, actually. I mean, they work, but the field is, I don't know, it's like 100 smaller, 100 times smaller. It's really weak. I mean, it's still strong, but the sensation is not that strong. You feel this magnetic effect, but it's nothing.
Yeah, well, that's right. I've noticed that too with the coils. If the coils are really smooth and shiny and well coated, that's a different vibe from them than the ones that have a dull sort of more flaky coating on them. It's a totally different thing. Yeah.
Exactly. And the girls prefer sometimes this way and this combination with this conjunction. And the guys prefer just normal full mirror. And actually, if you got the quite strong system, quite strong magraphs around you, you actually don't need this big health station, and you just need maybe 3 magraphs, and you just need seats between these 3 magraphs, like a triangle, and hold these mirrors and start work with yourself, start work with your body. I mean, if you get some special places, some special needs, I use this very often with my health story, and actually work very well. So that's the secret. That's another, not the secret, but that's another story with this stuff. And what's next? And the different type of graphite, nano-coated layer. This is the story with the GANSes, because I do special mix inside my pot. When I got solution, I got piece of zinc and a piece of silver. So middle of this, somewhere here, you get few nano layers with nano-coated silver and zinc fields and stuff like that. It's not only normal typical nano-coating made by piece of aluminum and plastic bottle. Is a little bit more. Depends.
Does the silver add to the mirror effect, do you think? I mean, they do what's called a silvering process in mirrors. Normally, they add an actual layer of silver to a piece of glass, and that makes a mirror.
No. This is just only a small piece of silver inside your solution to actually recreate the silver field, because the silver is halfway. I mean, is the
your caustic solution is what you're saying.
Exactly. Because the silver is same like not the carbon. It's like calcium. It's like a twice time like a calcium. If you're gonna check the by numbers the neutrons. So when I got the silver, I'm actually, that's my speculation, not only speculation, that's what Mr. Mahan said many times. If you got the silver, if you're gonna divide by half, you got your calcium. So if I get something with the same radiation, they will probably work very well with your bones, and just help all this stuff with your health. They probably gonna make stronger effects, and also different salts, and just try to incorporate few different type of salt when I do this nano-coated layer. Actually made the stronger feeling on the mirrors. The more stronger feeling, the better. That's my observation.
May I interrupt just for a moment? Just for a moment. This is Denny. Now, have you made a slight concave or cup-shaped mirror at any time?
I was made the cup. I show you guys. Actually, not the cup, the mug. Wait a moment.
And also down there, it looks like you have 3 mirrors stacked on top of one another with a ball on the inside.
Yeah. You talking about this? This is the 3 mirrors and the ball inside. I mean, I still work on a few other solutions and a few other ideas how to make them. I mean, to check, and if I show you something. It's not ready yet. I still need some piece of work. This is part of next device. It still need to be nano-coated once again, and polish it once again. So that's the concept. And the next part. And a very interesting thing is when you get something like that and something like that. They actually work pretty well. It's not that strong like when you hold the mirrors, but this is quite interesting thing to check how they're gonna behave inside the system. But I need to finish all the stuff, and maybe this sort of solution will help you pointing the really critical area and actually correct the balance inside your body in a very quick way in some very specific places. So that's the next idea to check. I was sure, because the point is you need to hold your fingers. I mean, not every single fingers, like Mr. Mahan say, but whatever you like. You know, that's your experiment. 3 fingers, 4 fingers, and a single combination like that, like that, and point them through some specific area, through the mirror, and use them like whatever. I mean, use it like a kind of Röntgen system, something like that. So that's the things what I do now, and I need to finish the big system, and we're gonna check how all the stuff behave inside the fully working system, because now I get only 2 columns. It's not that much. I mean, and ironically, this is 2 same columns. I didn't get this version with the batteries and capacitor, so it's too early to decide anything yet, because I basically finished the system, and after then I will know how they're gonna behave in a bigger scale when you get, you know, strong flow inside the system. And the next idea with this mirror, because it's not only one solution, that's the funky thing, because in few cases I get a problem with the helmet. People say helmet is too heavy, it's too heavy, I got problem, my head and my neck and stuff like that, because the helmet is really heavy. It's like a 3 kilo of, you know, copper wires, and it's not easy to hold them on the head. Some people feel basically physical pain if they stay long with the helmet. So this is like an extra version. It's not the full helmet. It's like a headphone, something like that. This is the mirrors. And you put on your hand.
I like that. That's nice. I like the idea of these are the headphones of the future. You won't have them, they're not plugged into anything, but you have instant communications anyways.
Exactly, through the space. And
yeah.
And we got very interesting observation with this with this stuff. I got old lady and her daughter with the system. Because that's the story with amino acid, I was asked the young lady to help mom with the, you know, with the fields. So, but the helmet, but it's only one helmet. So the daughter used this mirror on the hand, on the head, and old lady was with the helmet, and was like invisible communication between 2 ladies. Of course, by amino acid, by the system, but they look like I help. We had no any problem with kind of invisible transmission between the 2 persons inside the system. Even you don't need to be inside the system. The one person is inside the system. You stay some like a 3 meters outside the system, and you still feel basically. You get this feeling, and like I don't know how to explain it, because it's kind of, I don't know, I'm just looking the right words. English is not that bad. That's good. To get all the names. This is like a wireless connection between the 2 people. One person is inside the system, another is outside the system, and when one person holds the mirrors and do operation on the body with the mirrors, just pointing some area. The funny thing, you feel you get same feeling like this person inside the system. You actually in conjunction with this person. It's like it's mono field. The 2 people generate the mono field. If they of course like, because this, I think this is the story with the amino acids and a few others things. It's not only the mirrors, but they're actually really healthy. Let's see. Yeah, helpful. So not healthy. Helpful. Sorry. So
maybe you can make goggles as well with the mirrors. So you'd have like glasses, mirror glasses that you can't see through with the physicality, but maybe you can see with them with your essential self, let's say. Maybe. Or maybe you could see special fields with it that way.
You know, I just made this extra, let's say, mirror headphones because the helmet was too heavy, and I got only one helmet. And was one situation I like to check gonna be some transfer between the people inside the system and people outside the system, and actually you got the transfer. All of when someone, for example, point the mirror on the kidney, and you stay behind the system, you feel your own kidney. You feel this person. It's like everything matched to the one person, and whatever the gentleman or lady inside the system doing with the mirrors, you feel on your body, and it's like I don't know, like a twin, something like that. You just start participation with this same process. And also the next thing with the mirrors, if you inside the system and you point them to some specific area, it's pretty much same effect like with the big stacker. But the big stacker, if you use them like I know, like a spotlight, something like that, it's, you know, X times stronger, definitely. It's like sometimes when you're sitting inside the system and you put the small stacker that's looking like a maggraph on your chest, you feel like you know, like elephants sit on your chest. It's like a really strong effect. And we do now a lot of experiments with friends to find, you know, the correct, and not the correct, but the best option to use them, and to minimalize all the cables, just make everything smaller, everything much more handy and friendly to build, and much more effective. I mean, that's effective how this is possible to actually achieve all this effects the most faster way. And also the next thing with the small stackers, this is sort of my kind of idea how to use it, because some people get implants and story like that, and if you got implants, this is the problem, because you don't should go through the system, because maybe your body start through all these implants out. You never know what's gonna happen. I'm not a doctor. I don't like to risk human life or human health and do some crazy things with the people.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I'm not a doctor. I'm only, let's see, plasma engineer. That's all.
Only a plasma engineer.
Only. And
yeah.
And if someone, for example, if you got implant inside your leg or hand, which some people got it, and you like to use the system, maybe solution is use the small stacker. I mean, the stacker with the 3 coils. Now I got the stacker with the 3 coils, but I'm on the way actually designing and doing the next version. Gonna be 1 coil with some very specific capacitors to minimalize all the system and make more effective, more handy, and more friendly for user. And if you get the implants in your hand, in your, for example, leg, you don't need operate your leg. You just got this unit in your hand, and you, for example, operate your kidney. You don't need touch your leg, for example. This is kind of good idea, in a conjunction with the helmet, of course. But work without the helmet. That's another good news. You don't need the helmet. Helmet costs a lot of work, and so not everyone get enough time to build the helmet, but build the simple stacker when only one difference is the way how you're gonna bind the coils inside. You just need to bind the coils like to the medical system, not like to the normal maggraph, but build like a normal maggraph. So, and you get the strong field around. And even if you're gonna connect through the electric supply, this type of field, because it's a very specific field, will the fields start be actually visible everywhere. Not visible, but you actually do something like an infection. You actually create something like a different type of field inside your electric system, inside your electric grid. And my kind of speculation is you actually make all your house more healthy, something like that, because you create a little bit different fields by these coils. So, and if you're gonna connect to the electric supply, so the field gonna expand through the cables to the, you know, everywhere. So that's the kind of idea when I got in my head, and yeah, that's the most simple explanation. Sorry by my English. I'm just still sleepy on the morning.
You're doing quite well, actually. Thank you.
I have one more question for you, Thomas, because when I asked the question, you showed the ring, and I was basically talking about you take the flat disc and bend it in such a way that it's concave or convex, cup shape. I wanted to know if you had experimented with that particular shape.
With the cup shape?
Well, concave or convex, because one side's going to be concave and the other side's going to be convex. And if you had,
I was trying this like a few months ago. I was trying build one device with this idea, but no any special effects, no any special behavior, nothing like that. The mirrors actually beat everything. We was try a few different shapes and seriously many different ideas.
You mean the flat mirror?
Yeah, the flat mirror is actually the best.
Beat the convex or the concave mirror for yes.
But I was on one thing. Unfortunately, I didn't get at home. That was the brass. That was made from brass, but was the clean brass without no lead. When you got the Tibetan ball, this like this is the ball to generate the sound. They call Tibetan ball. You probably know that. It's kind of very specific musical instrument.
Yeah.
Just big ball.
Tibetan bowls are common nowadays, yeah.
And I was nano-coat them, and not only it's not only stored with the nano-coating. It's more important what was GANSes, because that was iodine. That was special combination of GANSes to actually find the grip with your soul. With your nerve system, and effect was extraordinary. I mean, one gentleman just grabbed this ball now, and he still didn't bring me back. The ball disappeared somewhere.
I'm gonna help you here with your English, because what you're really saying is bowl, B-O, not ball, B-A-L-L, like
no, bowl. Thank you, sir.
I'm just doing that in case somebody else didn't catch it.
My English is 3 years in London. I still got really bad English. It's shame. Anyway.
No, it's pretty good, actually.
It's very good.
Pretty good English, better than most. So
thank you.
Don't apologize for it. You talk quite quickly too for someone that's English isn't your native language. So thank you.
And the one thing with this ball, and I got idea actually recreate the same experiment and make another one, because the way how they work was amazing. Was really amazing.
Did you try? Were you making the bowl make the sound with the?
That's just amazing. Yeah. Because when you start generate the sound, the people get I don't know the English term when your skin is like a chicken skin, something like that.
Tingling. Goosebumps. Yes,
that's it. Goosebumps, and that's what's amazing. You just need to stay in a room, and the people, I don't know, 2 meters, maybe 1 meter distance from you, and you just start playing, and everyone gets this effect. Everyone, this is amazing. Mm-hmm. This sounds work like extension through the fields. I mean, not extension. Let's say. The fields generated by GANSes and nano-coat layer, they actually work fantastic together with the sound, and the sounds look like an extra motorway who help push the fields to the further distance.
Like a support, yeah.
And the sound is different. We done this experiment.
I was going to say, what alterate? How did it change the sound, and how did it change the sound?
I was choice the most cheaper bow. Services like, I don't know, 50 quid, something like that. The most cheaper one. Really bad ones. There's nothing, like sometimes you see on the internet, the handmade it and stuff like that. It was cheaper, and sounds was not the bad, not really good. When you actually generate the sound, you get one frequency, just like one frequency, one note. is not the best, because always when you get the original one, the notes, the sound is combination between the two notes. But with the cheap one, you get one note. So after all this operation, when nanocode was finished, and very important thing, everything was polished. Same idea like a mirrors. It take ages, but was absolutely worthy. And after then, the sounds start generate some like 3 different frequencies, and you almost started to hear something like the nano-coated layer creates some like an extra spectrum from the frequency. I mean, it's not the frequency, it's a plasma fields. It's just different combination of fields, but the fields start to go interact inside one sound, and it's like brown noise, something like that. Normally, sounds does exist. Exists only one frequency, one visible frequency. But this invisible part, the fields inside the ball, generates some, like, I don't know, different feelings, and the sounds.
Well, that's neat. It'd be nice to document that somehow, like to record it maybe with a graph that shows the different frequencies and so on, the difference between the two bowls. That would be really neat.
I will probably do this experiment soon, because I mean this ball disappeared, so I need to find a new one and make the new one. I think with the new one I will do this experiment together with the recording, because the sounds after then was completely different. I was passed this ball to the gentleman who actually play like gigs. He actually do some like workshops and stuff like that with all this Tibetan stuff, and always is like a group, 15 people, 10 people, something like that. And I know this particular ball do amazing atmosphere. Actually, this one, and because the sound is different. It sounds like crystal, basically like a crystal. It was funny, because when we just started check the sound after all this operation, everything was ready. The only one word, only one connotation what we got it inside the head, like how to compare the sound to something, because the ball completely stopped, sounds like a normal Tibetan ball. They start, especially with the brass ball, completely different sound. And after then we just decided this is the crystal sound. And seriously, all the sounds sounds like a pure, I don't know how to explain.
Well,
but
that actually makes sense, because the copper oxide is a crystal, and you create a crystal coating on it, and it's
diamond sound.
It's like a diamond coating too, yeah.
And diamond-like
sound.
And that was one experiment, and we didn't finish on this experiment. I mean, I didn't finish on this experiment. The next step was, okay, because my mates and friends play on the instrument. So the next step, okay, let's take the strings to the electric guitar or acoustic guitar. To the acoustic guitar, that's the better option, because they made from brass. So, and let's go and uncode the strings through the guitar. So, and we actually uncode the strings and check the stuff on the guitar. It sounds amazing. I mean, it's flexibility is a little bit different. If you are a musician, you will find the difference. It's a little bit harder to play on the strings, but just only, for a few seconds, and will find yourself, will be fine. They basically a little bit harder than normal strings, but sound is amazing. And seriously, and guitar is twice, acoustic guitar is like a twice times louder, but it's not by loudness itself. It's like even if someone play in another room and the doors are closed and everything is separate and stuff, like, you hear the sound. It's amazing. Nothing is able to stop the sound. The sound is traveling across the walls, across the doors, everywhere. And normally you always lose your high definition. The only bass travel across the floor and stuff like that. But when you get a nano-coat the strings, you hear all the frequency, and this is amazing sound. And actually, we do some recording, but actually I didn't get now. We done some recording with this with the strings. But I need to actually find where is this recording. So it's quite interesting thing, guys. If you play on the guitars and you've got some instrument and you get time to do this, try nano-coat your strings or maybe nano-coat your bow and check what's gonna happen. Bow is amazing because this gentleman used actually for kind of, let's say, medical purpose, something like it's kind of natural, alternative therapies and stuff like that. And that's what I know because the gentleman disappeared with this bow. I didn't get any report from him, but I think they work very well. That's the reason why he disappeared with this ball.
This is great. This is great commentary. Thanks, Thomas.
Welcome.
And you keep going. I'm not here to stop you. Just continue.
Right. I will stop for now.
Well, there is one suggestion. When you're doing your next test with your bowls, get 2 bowls of similar quality, nano-coat one and don't nano-coat the other, so that you have a base to tell the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's a good idea, but I need extra time now. I got this health station finished. So that's going to take some extra time. So, but anyway.
Yeah, you're going to have to enlist Lee. Yeah.
I think you better get the factory going, you guys.
Yeah, exactly. Let's do it.
The factory going.
Well, this is good stuff because now he's got me getting ready to do the resin. He called it shellac. I think you can call it pitch. You can call it amber mix.
Maybe. Mm-hmm.
And so there's not only star formations that you can use. You can put this in a circular hoop shape like you would a coil. You can do that around a sphere as well, and also spheres larger. You can set a star formation in a larger sphere, and around the perimeter where the 2 hemispheres come together, you can set your 12 reactors like you would set in a flight system. So there's plenty of room here now that you've shown us that the amber has some good plasma effects to it, and
it's another substance. I mean, I don't know, guys. You know this substance. I mean, it's very well known in Poland and in Europe on the continent. The name is propolis. Maybe
it's like from the honey.
Yes, exactly. This is another substance in GANS estate, and this is a really cool thing because basically all the dust on the flowers, what's actually pollen. Yeah, what is the pollen? Pollen is a GANS, pure natural GANS made by plants. I mean, it's GANS state 100%, and the propolis is like a collection of the pollen. And for me, it's very important for medical issue, for all this stuff. I mean, with the health stations and stuff, all this part of the technology, the medical part. Because many people try collect hundreds of thousands of herbs, different herbs. Everyone look for some extra super herbs to turn them through the GANS and use them often. And many people try find many different herbs. And the one idea is basically create a collection of, I don't know, maybe 100 different herbs, because in some herbs from another continent, another herbs is curing this, and from you're gonna spend years trying to collect everything. But the simple option is not the same, of course, but it's kind of simple option. Just go for pollen. The bees do for you all your job. You don't need to collect every single plants and separate them for every single field on this planet. Just need the pollen from a few different fields, few different types of pollen, because what do the small flying animals? They collect everything what grows on the fields, everything. So if you got the pollen, you got every single plant who grows around, I know, maybe 20 kilometers, maybe 30 kilometers around the bee house.
Yeah, good point.
And this is really good thing because the small animal, bees, they perfectly know what is good, what is bad. They never collect some nasty things, never collect some toxic stuff. They always got really good eye to all these herbs, because they always work with these herbs. So the most quicker option, collect all the GANS fields from herbs. Just go for pollen. But propolis, go from propolis, for example, propolis and pollen. This is the two substances, and it's easy to mix them with the wax, or also do the ganses from this. It's a few different options. I mean, I'm always looking for some natural substance, something really organic and some far away from the plastic. And that was my another idea, the substances through the GANS. So maybe that's gonna be helpful for someone who's looking for some health system and some specific ganses with some, healthy herbs and stuff like that. And another thing, excuse me, is a smell. When you make the GANS with propolis, and you're gonna use with your even capacitors in your maggraph, sometimes when you walk across this maggraph, you feel this the smell like on the fields in the middle of the summer. It's an amazing thing. This is I was dropped one day and I was broken, dropped on the floor. My GANS with what was the orange? Probably orange, yeah. And for this day, sometimes you get the sensation in the room like I feel orange somewhere. This is only GANS condition, and so same thing with the propolis. You get a piece of sunny, sunny fields from somewhere from the forest in your room. It's quite an interesting thing.
Nice.
I have
Good
a
one.
question. Can I ask you a question, Thomas? Or,
Yes.
have you got a team working with you? So, like, do your participants that come and try this, do you have a question sheet for them so you can start recording the data so that people can learn? Because you're just giving us such beautiful information. And I'm wondering if there's a team, because obviously you can't do it all, but do you have a team around you that can help you accumulate?
Thank you for compliments.
Oh, you're
yes. I create some like a team, because I was that was the first day when Blueprint was published. That was the data when I start, and with my friend who actually visits me here in London, and end of the story, I was set up something like a collective, small collective. The collective name is Go to the Forest. That's the name for the collective. Maybe this is us obsession about all these organic things from the forest.
That's a great name. That's a great name.
And we actually do workshops, because normally we build maggraphs. We try to teach everyone who like to, teach self how to do this device, and I help people just for free. This is the idea. Just do this for free. If you get some money in the package, just do this for free for people. If someone needs the help, just help them. So and I will set up this collective. Collective is named Go to the Forest, and we actually specialize self with this experimental part and with these big health stations, because that's kind of big. The health is a big issue for us. I'm based in London. Other members of the collective based in Poland, and we work by internet. Sometimes we visit self. The guys sometimes come to London and visit me and stay with me a few days. Sometimes I go to the opposite direction. So we work together, and we do something like a workshop in the Polish language, and we call this workshop Technologia Plasmowa. This is the Polish name, and plasma technology. And this is basically like a workshop. So actually, Rick, you was the inspiration. Thank you for inspiration, actually. and yeah, now we got 18 episodes, 18 episodes, and we try, put all this information, all this small discoveries, reflections, and concept what we got inside the head through this workshop. And we didn't translate to the English. That's the only one problem. They only exist in Polish language. So I will send the link to them on the chat.
That's wonderful to hear, because you're very much an inspiration, and it's nice to know the plasma field around you is working and spreading outwards. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Libby and Thomas, this is Denny again. Libby started this conversation when you were inspired to mention the fields that you could see and other people could see around your magravs and around your unit. Libby inspired you to, but you didn't get into that, and that was the original topic. I was wondering if you have time for that, Rick. I don't want to bogart this situation.
Go for it, Denny. You can lead into that. It's fine.
Actually, the interesting thing of one of the members of the collective, exactly, I don't know, it was 3 days ago, he actually reports the strong visual effect. Whatever he's gonna go, this gentleman see this, you know, the aura or whatever you're gonna call it, basically fields around, kind of, you know, bluish, something like a, they look like a cloudish, bluish, something like that, like a smoke, like a very delicate smoke. I get sometimes in the, around I see this situation sometimes around the magras, around the system, something like, how's it called? It's like, very delicate bluish fog, something like that, like a small cloudish situation around the devices. Sometimes like a sparks, so like a white greenish sparks, something like that. Big, huge sparks, they flying around the stacker. Depends of situation, depends of my concentration. I think it's strongly connected with the way how we feel basically in a particular moment. If you are okay, if I didn't drive any frustration inside myself, if I'm okay, if I'm, you know, full love and peace through the world and through all the space, everything is fine. I got the sensation. If I get some kind of frustration moment, if I, you know, something is not correct in my head, I get some, you know, unstable ideas, the visibility is gone. Something like that.
So it comes back to our state, our personal status, to our receptivity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think this is the natural for us, and soon the later everyone starts to see these things. It's funny when you walk across the street, especially in London, and you see this kind of aura effect around the people. It's really funny. Just for a few minutes, just walk and see, like, wow, it's nice.
Well, thank you again, Thomas. It's been fascinating. Thank you.
Welcome. But seriously, that happened because we're using the health system, the health station, the big station. I think the most important element, the health station actually switch off this blockade what we got inside us, you know, perception or whatever we're gonna call it. It's kind of, I don't know, it's artificial blockade somewhere in a hand.
I used to work with the well, I got the what's called the beacon here from the Brain Power company.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
And it works with that kind of technology. The idea is this is tuned to the Schumann Earth frequency, which is 7.83 hertz or approximately, which also happens to be our theta brainwave frequency. So sometimes these devices are called beta blockers, not in the pharmaceutical sense of beta blockers, but in terms of blocking our beta brainwave frequencies, which is the busy mind and the, you know, upset mind and trying to get things done and so on. If we block those higher frequency brainwave frequencies, then we can get access to the theta brainwave frequencies, which are the deeper frequencies, which are used for maybe psychic or telepathy or deeper forms of communication with your subconscious and inner experiences and so on. So the idea is you can actually block those interfering brainwave patterns, and until they are blocked or bypassed, then the other more subtle realms will not rise up. They won't be prevalent. They won't be observable, because the other more coarse and higher frequencies will interfere. That's right. So we have to. Everyone needs to find their own way to activate the essential brainwave features and try to deactivate the other busy brain stuff, if that's the realm that you want to dive into. Thomas, are you wanting to show your video there?
Thank you. That's me.
Not hearing your audio, Thomas.
All right.
Oops, your video's off now too, so I guess you didn't want to show that.
That's fine. That's
I'm
fine.
not sure what you had there, but you're...
We can hear you. I can hear you.
See your microphone's going, but I'm not hearing.
All right. I think microphone will be fine
the
because
audio. Maybe it's on my end.
Yeah, no, it's working here.
Yeah,
no, it's fine.
It's gone astray. I'm not hearing audio all of a sudden here.
But now I can't see who you are.
It's responding on my speaker, but it's not.
I'll just show you my face, guys.
Oh, I think I
Nice to see your face.
disconnected here. Oh, I'm back again. I can hear you now. Sorry, it was all at my end. Sorry to. So what were you saying there? 'Cause I missed it, whatever it was. But people at home got it.
So I think that's all for today. And I mean, I got one thing, but I will skip to the next week because they need some more experiment. Also, we do with the collective some experiments with the health station, the big ones. Very interesting observation what we got with some specific places with the system. When you're gonna how to explain, when you're gonna stay in some specific position through the system, you actually able to help. It's kind of strange term, but I don't know that everyone is familiar. The phantom operation, you hear that? Phantomic operation, when you by your ideas, by by feelings, you just operate someone. Like a phantom operation. You just need to imagine yourself, for example, your kidney, if something is wrong with your kidney, and actually imagine yourself, you transform the kidney.
Oh, okay. Like a virtual, by operation, you mean like a procedure, a medical procedure operation. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
And
yes,
you mean like a virtual operation?
yes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yes. And people in Asia do these things. It's very common now in the Philippines and stuff like that. They operate only hands. It's just,
yes,
like,
and they can put their hands right inside and manipulate organs without the physicality, and so on.
Yeah, and is one specific place inside the system we discovered. Probably Mr. Mahran perfectly know this place. And we just do these experiments with this health station. I need to actually finish the second one. This is my health station. This is the second one. The first one was done and stay outside London and work with people. This one is experimental. And when gonna be finished, I think in the next 2-3 weeks maximum, and we're gonna do this experiment here and check how they behave. Because, for example, funny thing, if you get photography, some person, and you need to actually put the photography through the system and start operate with this photography. And even if this person is, I don't know, maybe 300 kilometers somewhere there, even 3,000 kilometers. For example, I'm here in London, someone is in New York or in Tokyo, I will operate with the system with his photography. And funny thing, the people get feelings immediately. It's like a wireless connection and in zero delay time across all the universe. You don't need to worry about anything.
Yeah.
You get this.
Do you put their picture on the chair, or where do you put the picture? Okay. Yeah.
This is. I mean, sounds maybe dodgy because you know, it's
Well,
not
not to me, because
No,
the same people that, I'll just show the picture briefly here while I talk about this.
it's a familiar thing. It's a familiar.
Yeah, I was going to mention that the people that make these brain power devices, one of the uses for them is you can actually connect with helping to heal others, or helping to be a sort of a, not a medium exactly, but to connect with others to help them if they're passing into the next world, or if they're having health issues and they need to pass to the next level of curing and so on. It helps people to get into the next level. And you can actually set up communications with certain procedures to communicate with someone on the other side of the world. There is no distance parameters. And you can do readings for them to actually help them if they're dying or if they're sick and so on.
Well, this is for us, is to help people go from one spaceship to the other.
Yeah, and I mean, it's quite interesting thing because, for example, you got system, you got the big system, and someone who gets health issue, health problems, and you need to find the balance inside the body, live somewhere, I don't know, with the distance few thousand miles from you, and this is like an extra option. You don't need to travel through the system across the continents, you know, go to the fly or something like that. You just need to send your photo, and probably the best idea, send your photo with your amino acids. You just need to touch them, do something like that on the photography, and let's see what's gonna happen. That's what we checking now. By the way, that's how they work, guys. Now, this is the idea.
Okay.
And point is, because we have different areas in the brain, so if you like change the position, very easy.
Yeah.
Space travel.
Yeah, kind of sporty too.
Exactly.
So
soon gonna be the most trendy device in London, probably everywhere.
Yeah, everyone will have one.
Fashionable.
So how many people in your group have the larger system? Are there several of you
We got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now is 5 on the way. It's like 3 working systems. 3 working systems. 4th is under construction. It's not fully yet. The guys finished the helmets with the system, and I got the 5th one here, and that's the it's like it's the fully working operation is a 3 systems now.
Yeah, you can link those together. You can
that's what we like to do.
Then you can link the fields from the health system to your mirrored disk. You can take that, and so that you can take the health system and vitalize the disk with your health systems. This is just a suggestion. I'm not saying to do it.
I mean, I got the idea to build the replica for this health system, but only using the copper mirrors. I mean, I need to actually design everything, and because they need different batteries and stuff like that. I got one prototype, but I didn't check yet. So imagine yourself now, instead of coil, you got mirror. That's the only one difference. So the one wall is connected. The one wall is connected through the batteries. The other is just to the sink. So only mirrors. And you got, for example, 3 supported systems somewhere across the space. We actually connect the system, but not accidentally, not by because we say is it connected. We just connect the system by GANSes, because every of us do the GANSes. So the GANSes when I made here, they travel to the guys, and the guys use piece of the GANSes on self system. So we actually got this wireless connection across the whole universe by GANSes, of course, but CO2, zinc, and stuff like that. That's the idea we'll be using very often.
One of the older systems where people used photographs, they were pretty locked into the Polaroid photograph.
Yes, yeah. I hear that. Yeah. I mean, guys. I mean, if everything gonna be ready here, I mean, maybe we're gonna do some experiments. It's easy. You just need to send me a photo. But we're just trying now. We like to try with the photography when you send by email. You know, I'm gonna print them. I'm gonna put through the system, and we're gonna check what's gonna happen, for example. But I need to finish the system because one of us discovered one specific place behind the system. When you get these big systems and it's one specific place, when you stay here, you get so strong interactions with the person inside the system or with everything. This is amazing, huge thing. And now we got a gentleman on the wheelchair, and we're gonna try what's gonna happen, because the idea is take the gentleman, put them on the self-fit, take them from wheelchair and help him back again to the normal condition. So that's gonna, basically we need time. We need to check all these few different possibilities, how they're gonna behave. That's always take time. But it's a lot of ideas, a lot of really good ideas, interesting things. So maybe soon everyone gonna be really healthy. We have no any health issues and stuff like that. And maybe maybe you don't need build a big system, because you're gonna send the photography through the other system, your own photography, and I'm gonna put, for example, your photo to my system, and after some special operation, your health will back to balance again. So this is like really amazing things, because you need buying thousands of tons of copper coils and build the thousands of systems. Maybe this is the perfect solution to work wireless externally for everyone across the space for free, absolutely for free, nothing. You just need a photo. I just need to put the photo through the system. That's all. A few sessions, and you feel better. I feel better. Everyone feel better. So if everyone is happy, everyone get a different state of mind, and everyone is able to see the aura, for example, or all these things. So it's so promising. I mean, this technology is so total. It's giant. It's massive. Oh, this is perfect. This London slang is just massive. So let's see what's gonna happen next. There's plenty of opportunities.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All righty. Any other questions, comments about that aspect of things? I see. Let me see. Jay had a question here before, trying to sort it out. He says, I have a question. I've been back to grassroots. I've made a nice presentation how to make caustic from wood ashes for new students someday, and about to make some other one with malachite rocks in an attempt to show how to actually get hold of the two main ingredients and all the KF tech if there isn't any handy, or we go to Zeus. My question is, like Mr. Keshe says about creating conditions, can any metal be used for the tech, or does it have to be copper? The reason I ask is that while making the presentation, the iron seems to be a lot handier to make. Is copper the key, or is it just helping to create the condition of belief? Malachite rocks are proving hard to find. I'm not really clear on your question here. Maybe you'd like to talk a bit and see what you... Does what have to be copper? You say, Rick, does it have to be copper? Does what have to be copper? Or what are you making? I don't understand what you're trying to make.
Okay, I just wanted to know, do you know the way, if say we make health pens or the MagRav units, is it the properties in the copper, or could you make a MagRav unit with, say, a wire made of iron or steel or aluminium or something like that?
Yep, and it would probably have a totally different response or totally different effect. That's the whole thing about it.
I think
copper is part of our physicality, part of our body. Some of the other elements may not be. Go ahead, Danny. What do you think?
John Carl, did you have experiments that you had done with different metals?
Myself, no, I haven't worked with that, but there have been others who have done that. Zinc wire and copper wire, and apparently they got some pretty crazy results out of it.
When you say crazy, what does that mean?
Well, things unexpected results. They weren't forthcoming with their results. They just said that it worked, but it didn't work the way I expected it to. So I don't have the experience on that. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I just thought that would help Jay.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's difficult to say. Depends on your application and so on, probably. You use copper for coils. It's probably cheaper than platinum or something else like that, as well as it's got the right stuff, basically. It's got the right field strength for the plasma with the copper, and it may not with aluminum or with zinc or steel or some other things. There's totally different properties with steel, for example, where you have magnetic fields that build up differently than in the copper and whatnot.
One of the thoughts about it earlier was you use one coil of copper, one coil of zinc, and another coil of iron. And what you had there was you had a difference in field strengths. So you had, I forget what the differential, a different field strength. And that was the thought behind it, why you would want to use a different, that's one of the thoughts behind why you would want to use a different coil, especially was in the car unit at one time. That's why I was asking John if he knew of people who did experiments like that.
I was guys done some experiment, but with the health pens, because I think this is the best polygon to do any kind of test. The field gonna, how you gonna feel the fields, how they expand, how they behave. Health pens. And I was try with few different materials, but even with the silver, I got even one with the silver now somewhere on the desk, the health fan, and was huge disappointment. Silver, very, precious, not that precious, but one of the precious metals. Everyone expects something special because, this is the silver, same like a gold, something special. And actually, it's not disaster, but it's close to disaster. And compared to the normal health pen made by copper, there's no one, the silver is rubbish. It didn't work. With me, maybe I was broke something, maybe I was make something in a bad way, but after all the tests, the silver was loser, basically, because I was thinking about silver sheets inside the capacitors and batteries inside the medical system. That was actually above my mind. And now, I got one capacitor and battery made like that. I didn't check yet. It's already done, but it was never connected through the system. I will connect to the system in next, maybe tomorrow, maybe even today. Let's see what's going to happen. If I'm going to find some extra time, but I didn't expect any special behavior. If normal zinc, just normal zinc, generate giant effect, giant field, and really easy to feel, and I don't know, it's something really big. But excuse me, the silver is nothing special. I completely lost the tension for the silver, for example.
Let me put some input here, if it's okay, on the silver and on other metals. You can infuse the silver, like you were saying, with the thought fields or the force fields of your own intention, and you can probably do that with other metals as well. So I wouldn't give up on the silver if I were you. As you start to experiment with your long distance healing techniques, the silver is very good to infuse those force fields or the plasma fields into, so that when somebody else uses them, that those healing fields can be quite effective to them with them. So I wouldn't give up on the silver in that area. It's just that you may want to infuse a different.
You know, Danny, maybe I think you got right, because I forgot to mention the one thing. I was using silver like a core inside the pen. It's not fully made by silver. It's only core. Core is made from silver, but the two wires, I mean two coils around the health pen, they normally copper. I mean nano-coated copper. So you got silver rod, silver core inside, and copper outside. And with this conjunction, the silver didn't work very well. I mean, maybe as you say, in a short time scale, we didn't see any things. But okay, I will try. I will try use.
Well, yeah, and silver coating, because silver can be quite expensive. If you use a silver coating, you get you can also infuse that. So I'm just saying that don't give up on it. You do a lot of experimentation.
You know,
come back at it from a different angle.
Maybe I show you. I'm just looking for now, because I got this prototype of capacitor and a battery through the health system, to the health station, the small one, made in a different way. And normally, some people use aluminum foil inside. I'm not a very big fan of aluminum foil. Normally, I use titan.
Okay, titanium. Okay, I'm going to jump in just for a moment, because I don't want to flow over what Jay had. He had some questions and stuff, and so Jay, jump in here and ask Thomas questions as well, will you?
Hello, Danny.
Yes.
I'm not too sure what they ask anymore. So my question was just about whether copper was like the main metal, or I haven't really done much experimenting myself, but it was just, I'm going to make a presentation of how to actually try and get some copper just from rocks. And the malachite rock, it's difficult to find where I live, you know, like, and I was just wondering, like iron ore and stuff is easier sourced. And that was just where the question really comes from, you know. But as far as the other things go, that's really all I have to say.
Thank you, Jay. Thomas?
Thank you. I was, that's the idea would stay somewhere in my head for a long time. Just pick up some original copper from mining, just original one. For example, from States, something like a copper balls from mining. And check this copper, because they got different ingredients. It's not like a factory made copper, and check them, because I will spot a few things. This is my observation across the many museums across the Europe, especially when you got all this prehistoric stuff, and you see a lot of artifacts. And now the artifacts for me looks a little bit different, and sometimes they look like the copper a long time ago, 6,000, 7,000 years ago. The original copper from the ground, from the soil, the original one, was widely used, for example, to do something, to build something, maybe reactors, maybe something like that. I don't know. I didn't check it. Normally, when I got now just normal factory copper, just like a 99.999, something like that, just typical copper. I didn't check the.
They just found a ship apparently that had, I think it was back somewhere around a couple thousand years ago, and they analyzed the copper recently, and there was like 10 tons of copper and a ton of zinc, or sorry, a ton of tin. It was tin and copper on this shipment that the they were shipping back in the old copper days, the Bronze Age it was. They used tin and copper to make bronze. And they found that the copper, even though it was fairly pure in its chemical composition, that it had a lot of holes and porosity, and it hadn't been purified by remelting a series of times the way they normally do it, apparently. So it was more or less a rough casting, and it had void parts inside that had copper oxide and some copper hydroxides and so on that had formed inside the main copper balls that they had cast. So that was kind of interesting. But they still were able to get fairly high quality copper in spite of their old techniques and so on. But I do note, just as an aside, the modern copper, like in copper wires, that comes through all shiny and so on, even when you peel off the insulation. Usually that's because the copper's gone through a special process to clean it with acid and make it really shiny, and it keeps its shininess because it's not able to oxidize so readily. And in the old days, back when they started with electricity in the early 1900s, they had a different kind of copper. The copper wires were actually a different form of copper, or a different process when they made it, and it actually oxidized and turned brown quite often. The older copper wire coils and other ancient sort of technology, the wires are all quite brown colored, not black but brown, from the oxide, particular oxide that forms over wires when you can get the same effect by leaving a copper wire out in the ground, on the ground. I think Libby had some that were similar, with a sort of a deep brown process that goes on to it. Anywho, go ahead there.
Well, this was Denny. I was going to try to encourage Thomas to continue with what he was about to present. Are you still there, Thomas?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just looking for this battery. It's somewhere there for the small health system with the silver, but I can find it somewhere there. And it's just too many prototypes, too many different small things, and always spread across the room, and always got some problems with finding something. But with the different copper, I didn't check. I didn't check yet. This is my next plan, which is go for different materials and check them. My favorite now is zinc. They just clean, normal factory-made zinc, standard zinc for now, but the clean one, like a 99% pure, because no one gonna give you 100% pure zinc, of course. The same with the copper. It's always some fraction of different metals. It's physically impossible to create pure copper on this planet. Always gonna be some extra bits inside. And that's my kind of typical workflow. This zinc, clean copper, and titanium. Now I get this experiment with the seal. Experiment with aluminum foil, with nano-coated aluminum foil and nano-coated. And what's more with these materials? I was with extra things. No any iron, the brass, but I don't show with my brass. I get it looks like a nice brass, but I don't know the chemical compounds inside. Maybe they got some lead inside, so it's kind of risky thing to use them. I mean, after nano-coating look fine, but I don't know. I got some suspicious. It's not a normal brass like made, I don't know, 100 years ago, just pure zinc and pure copper. So that's just my idea when I do research, because I'm actually I put more stronger accent on the GANSes for now. I mean, the materials, this is like a frame. I mean, kind of my political license from metaphor for the copper is the copper is like a frame. When you get the picture, every single nice picture needs a nice frame. So the copper is a frame for all these interactions. I mean, it's on the copper because I mean, it's a nano-coated copper. Is this frame, and also other materials like a zinc. This is just only frame, and inside this frame I need to actually paint the real interaction. The real interaction started with the GANSes, so I need just good holder for these interactions, because the copper didn't solve anything and other materials didn't solve all the situation. This is only part of this the story, but sometimes I think this part is not as important like a GANSes. I mean, for me, the holy grail is a GANSes. For example, when you know how to use the GANS material, you don't need copper. You just need piece of like a shamans in the Amazon jungle. They just got few rocks and a few leaves and funny situation. The gentleman dress up completely naked gentleman with few rocks in the hand. It's like few magical elements. He just dropped them on the floor. Do some short chanting or kind of meditation or something like that, and after a few seconds you get rain. And this gentleman do not operate with the copper. He didn't operate with the zinc. No any metals, nothing like that. Just only organic materials who actually create the right flow and the right composition in conjunction with the GANSes. So for me, the most important with the materials, this is the basically composition inside my pot when I do nano coating. For example, which type of layers I got inside this nano layers. For example, if I'm gonna apply the piece of silver, normally I think gonna be some like maybe 2, maybe 5 nano layers somewhere inside the nano layer. Only 5, maybe 3 layers silver. So the next one, if I'm gonna apply the next material to my pod, I'm gonna create like multi-layering with the different materials, mix it together with the nano-coated copper. So and the interaction between these few different layers actually creates situation what I'm looking for, with conjunction with the GANS material. So I mean, I don't put that strong focus through the different materials. Like I don't do this heavy research between the different types of copper and stuff like that. For me, it's just only frame, and I just need a good frame and know how to build the right frame to make all this interaction easy inside these frames. There's something like the good frame to hold everything what is possible inside, and everything must perfectly match together. So that's my concepts. I'm not involved myself to that's heavy way to checking every single materials like metals. I mean, sometimes like this occasionally story with the silver, with the health pens and the batteries, and that's all. I mean, of course, I like do all the experiments with everything basically, but for now I just stick with the zinc and the copper, normal commercial copper, and GANSes. That's my idea for now. So let's see what's gonna happen with these connections.
You're still using the titanium though in your
exactly.
batteries.
Exactly. That's my favorite stuff. I mean, it's really, I think it's the best working idea for MAGRAPH. I think. I mean, maybe it's not true, because of course I didn't check everything. I'm not that clever. I done made this thousands of hundreds experiments, but for last year, in my opinion, with all the stuff when I do here, the titanium behave fantastic. I mean, this is something you cannot beat. That this is perfect stuff to MAGRAPH system, even to the health station. But with the health station, I absolutely skip with the titanium. I go for zinc, and this is with my batteries and capacity. With my batteries, always differentiation between the stuff made through the health units and through the energy grid. Energy grid, titanium. health stations, zinc. This is like it's like basic concept when I use now. So, but maybe I will expand these things. Also, I use the small copper sheets, something like a mix between the titanium, copper, another layer titanium, copper, another layer titanium, and for example, piece of brass or something like that. But this is like a multi-layering construction. You just try build like a tree, and you got this circles. When you cut the tree, you get the circles. So this idea will actually stay behind, create something who is close to nature, actually follow the same rules like nature. I mean, I don't like develop something completely new or something from scratch. I just try understood the way how nature do these things, because I think we got everything in front of us eyes. We just a little bit blind and we didn't see all this connection. That's the only one thing. And we had everything everywhere.
Good point. The answers are right in front of us all the time.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's where I am now. So let's see what's going to happen in the next experiments.
Right on. Thank you once again, Thomas.
Thank you for question.
Any more questions there, Denny? You're still hot on some questions there, or
yeah,
what do you think?
I feel like an instigator, you know.
Well, it's a good thing to instigate. I mean, if you're going to be an instigator, you might as well instigate something decent.
Well, anyhow,
lots of crappy things to instigate, but geez, you might as well be a instigator for the common good. Right on. Thanks, Denny. Any more instigating questions?
No, not at the present time. Maybe somebody else will come on, and I'll hit him with the barrage of instigation later.
Alrighty.
I don't see Mark here today.
Yeah, I don't see him here. He must be, he's probably busy working, I'm presuming. Maybe a little tired from all that. Okay, what else have we got lined up here? Anybody else have something they'd like to present or talk about? In a way, it'd be good to wind it up soon, because some people like to attend the classes and whatnot.
Yeah, I see that Libby already took off to her class.
Yeah. Let's see what else is happening there. I don't have much to show other than I'm going to be working with this little baby here coming up. It's a titanium bullet tweeter, which is a high frequency speaker, basically. I'm going to hook that up onto my rotating ball system that's over here on the lathe, and have this speaker really close to the ball, mounted right next to it, back to them, and run some ultrasonic sound frequencies through it to see if I can get a resonating structure inside the rotating sphere of liquid, and hopefully create sonoluminescent bubble in there and create light out of sound. That's the whole idea. But I didn't get around to it yet, so we'll see if what happens this week, if I can get to that little experiment. That would be fun. Jay's kicking out. See you later, Jay. Thank you for being here. He's going to the meeting, the private teachings, for those who may not recognize what I'm speaking of there. That's from KSSI, that anyone can attend if they would like to sign up and pay, I think it's €100 a year for the teachings. have quite an active class. It communicates back and forth and whatnot. Okay, what else, folks? Anything to present, or should we wrap it up for today?
Hi, Rick.
Hello.
Hi, it's John Kane. I was just coming on to, I believe, well, I missed last week, and you said you wanted a little bit of explanation for the information I sent through on the pentagon-hexagon relationship reactor type.
Okay, do you want to present a bit on that then?
I've not got my gear rigged up. I'm just getting ready to go out shortly.
Okay.
But it was just an email I sent through to you with a bit of a drawing and some explanation of the hexagon-pentagon relationship in terms of
yeah, did you want to discuss that now or tomorrow, I mean, next week or something, or what would you like to do with that?
Yeah, probably I might be better leaving it so I can get the information up. I've got to go out shortly. I'm just getting ready.
Right. Okay. Well, if you want to put something a little bit together for next week, we could have a look at that and examine it and sort of discuss it and so on. It'd be fun.
Okay. All right. I'll.
Are you a good white screener?
Sorry.
The white border.
Have you used the whiteboard?
No, not much. I've not got one.
Well, there's one built into the Zoom, is what Denny means. You can actually select the whiteboard as a screen share, and then you can draw pictures on the whiteboard if you wish. But you've already got some pictures you've drawn as well, so you could talk from that or however you'd like to do it.
Okay. I'll have to have a look at that. No problem.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, John.
Thanks, Rick. John.
Anybody else want to jump in, or shall we jump out?
Okay, guys, I got one thing, the last thing to say.
Okay.
Sorry for occupy this for occupation for today.
Oh, that's okay.
Like on the plasma chat. Because as I mentioned before, my friends play on the instrument, do some music and stuff like that. So we actually record. That's home recording. Is not nothing fancy from expensive posh recording studios with a famous star and stuff like that. But my mates do recording using everything was basically connected through the magraphs. Everything. So this is probably the first public record, and it's available online. I will drop the link on the chat. And this is fully recorded, mastered, and everything was connected to the magraph. Guitars, microphone, amps, everything. Everything was made on
What
plasma.
do you mean connected? You mean the instruments were connected through the magrav grid system, but you didn't put the sound through the magrav, right? It was just the power to the instruments, let's say.
Exactly. Every single amplifier, every part of equipment, everything was connected behind the magraph. So everything was recorded with the plasma condition. And very interesting observation from my friend. He mentioned the sound is much more better and much more friendly, and when he used this way of electric supply, I mean the plasma supply, this guitars and all the amps and all the recording equipment sounds much better than normally. So
what a concept.
Interesting thing. So this is the first, let's say this is the, maybe not the first, but I like to think this is the first one. Recording made on the plasma. I will send drop link on the chat. Give me a sec, please.
I'll try to put the link in the live stream. The links don't go through too well, but I'll try to arrange it in a way that you can link to it.
All right, wait a second. I need to only find it. Yes, I got it. We got no any copyrights. If you like to play anywhere, feel free. There's no any copyrights on this material. So even the video, or this is not the video, it's just picture to illustration, and through the sound is made on the post-production, production. Everything is made behind the magraphs. Everything, all the stuff. So have a good fun.
Right on. I wonder, well, yeah, I'm a little leery of playing music because somehow they always manage to tie it back to something. But I'll play it in after the meeting here and see if we can play it maybe next week and have a listen to it. I'm just not sure whether it might get picked up by YouTube or live stream or one of them, and then we'll say it sounds like this, so therefore we'll put ads on your YouTube video and claim it as our own and so on. They like to do that these days, even if you have the rights, which they've done to a couple of my videos actually.
All right, I will ask my mate to put information on this, to extra information about the copyrights, because
Okay.
he didn't mention any copyrights to this. This is with the big thank you to the Mr. Keshe. We got a lot of fun, so have a good fun.
Right on. Okay, I'll put that also in the live stream chat here. Let's see if it'll go through. I'll put it through one way and then try the different way as well. Let's see, the .com will be changed. Try that perhaps. All right, that should work. Thank you, Thomas. That's another good one.
Welcome. That was big fun.
I think that's a great idea. Is this the nano-coded instruments and GANS coded things, like not playing music that way. I think
you know what? If someone play on the electric guitars, and if someone use the good amps, like I need to mention brands, like I know the Marshall, Mesa Boogie, and all this stuff using the valves. Actually, the magraphs, behind the magraph, they behave amazing. The sound is much more better, seriously. And you see that,
it actually makes sense.
And this is like I know they're born to work with each other.
Are you a player?
Yeah, music and magraphs make good music together or something. Yeah.
Thomas, are you a guitar player?
Say again, Alper.
Are you a guitar player?
I play. If I play on the bass. And that's my mate actually do this sound. That's not
have you realized the more you play with your instrument over a longer period of time, and then you see your strings get blacker, and composing with your skin, your amino acid, and your salty and sweaty fingers, and it gets black over the time, and people get rid of those, and I keep those, and
you know what? Yeah. Now we got this big hit, the nano-coated strings, but you need to select the right type of strings. You need to check the materials, because not every single type of strings are very well to nano-coat. And you need to find the brass strings. You need basically do research by your own. And if you got the right type of strings, just nano-coat them and check on the instrument. The effect is
I've tried nano-coating them.
Brass string. Take the brass for example, the best option. Acoustic guitar. You don't need any amplification, anything like that.
You can do it with your lighter. You can nano-coat them with your lighter.
No. Do with the plastic socket, not with the fire, because you're gonna destroy completely strings. Only by your solution. Just drop to your solution, left them for, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks, something like that. Whatever, you just need nano coat by caustic soda, by your solution. And after then, put to your guitar and check the sound. And you're gonna be impressed.
It doesn't get destroyed, no worries about it. And you can try it if you like to, and you can see it. Yeah, certain strings. Of course, you need to do E, A, and D strings, because there's another rolled up wire around the
not exactly
wire,
not
so
exactly.
It's beneficial. You can separate them, and you can even go like we do our original coils. You can go in, you can make it loosen them and slightly by heating them, and you can put the wire through the guitar.
No, if you're gonna heat them, you're never gonna tune guitar. That's for sure, because you're gonna change the atomic structure inside the metal. But the funny observation is really interesting observation. I mean, it's nothing new. That's what Mr. Mahran mentioned many times. You see how field traveling across the different materials. Because, for example, when you got brass strings, it's not the brass. It's brass outside. Inside, you got steel rod inside the string. This is basically same construction like a coil, something like that. And you see, when you're gonna put everything to the one pot, and you're gonna boil it with the caustic soda with your solution, and every single string will be covered by nano-coated layer, because that's what you do. You actually transfer fields from from brass to the another materials. That's what actually happen if you're gonna put the zinc plate and a copper plate on the top, and you're gonna nano-coat both together. So you're gonna find a very interesting effect. You're gonna find your nano-coated copper layer lay on the zinc shed on the bottom, because the fields are. This is the transfer between the fields, transferring. They travel between the two different metals, and this is amazing, spectacular effect.
Okay.
I saw this many times with the capacitors, with the batteries, and so we use the same effect with the strings when we actually put through the nano coating. So that was the idea.
Okay, thank you.
All right, good information. Thank you. All right, I think we're going to wrap it up for today. We've been here, what is it, 3.5 hours, I think. Should be adequate for today's presentations. And once again, I thank everyone for participating and asking questions and keeping it all going here. Thank you very much, Thomas, for taking over much of today's show and showing us your stuff and getting our minds activated in different realms. That's what it's all about here, really, is gathering up some inspiration that we can pass on and pass on to others and whatnot. So I think this whole thing of guitar strings and the instruments is quite interesting. Maybe those mirrors, those copper plates could be put to use as well. There is a technique for using a bowstring on a plate like that to create music, for example.
Rick, remember that John said right at the start of tonight's workshop about the guitar, and he wanted to play the guitar maybe, or you suggested that he played
singing.
And it's just interesting, isn't it, how it's
developed? Good, yeah, that's perfect.
Goes around, comes around. That's right.
That's so true. That's unbelievable. That's
a good point. Maybe John will have nano-coated guitar strings next time around and play us a little melody. Eh, John?
Well, the more you play, the more it gets nano-coated. That's just what it is.
Yeah, right. Yeah. All right. Very good. Thanks, everybody. Going to end the live stream now. And we'll wrap things up. Very good. Okay, so let's let everyone know it's the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group for what's now is Wednesday, March 1st. Hey, it's March. We made it into March 2017. So far, so good, everybody. The world is still here. Yay.
Yeah.
We still get to play yet another day.
Yes.
All right.
Thanks.
See you all next week. Take care. Okay, stop the live stream. Nice to see it's all in one piece today. And I'll end the meeting.